Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go win the picks contest.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I do have a theory, though.
First theory at 12:06.
Yeah. Well,
Evan's trying to stay humble, even though he's not really being humble.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Here, everybody will be rooting against Mahomes because he's not as good as Tom.
well, we got to keep him from being the GOAT.
Correct.
Right.
God,
Which
but
is so transparent. You know the difference between you and most?
What?
You don't say that Mahomes sucks.
Oh, no. I like fabricating reasons to root against teams.
the problem. Sure.
Can't state it any plainer than that.
Paul, do you have a vantage point to see if Fred's food stains on his Emerson shirt are still there from last week?
Fred, did you wash it?
Screw.
Oh! And there was still so much time left. And I looked at Beth. I said, that's got to be wrong. It's got to only be second down. They're not going to call timeout. We still got to wait till 1 second on the play clock. They could force us to have to run a fourth down play. But if they do, let's make sure it's with less than 5 seconds left.
Are you
That
thinking
was
about
coaching
being an
negligence.
NFL coach? May I recommend the Paul Perello School of Clock
Fred.
Management?
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're how many days into the Gerard Mayo regime?
I think about 8.
8 days?
I told there would be no math.
8 days. So we're still waiting on hires. Interviews are happening. The wheels are turning, but no smoke out of the chimney yet. We don't know.
Yeah, the Chargers took that one last night when they hired Harbaugh.
They hired Harbaugh. That was big.
Yeah, they got
Big
a
one.
whole
Yeah.
barrel full of social media posts just ready to go on Jared Harbaugh. So, yeah, congratulations to them.
So what did they say?
They had one that was like the Pope.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is not stuff that is that interesting. It's like, it's.
No, I was just curious what they said.
Was it like a
Did anybody do anything?
Powder Puff Girl or some kind of cartoon character with like a bunch of pictures of Harbaugh? I don't know. They had a bunch of them.
They really do love themselves.
They-
I used to think Fred liked the smell of his own farts, but
No,
no one
they-
likes the smell of their own farts like the Chargers content team.
Right.
They
and-
really
and-
are so out of pocket.
No, and they're all pitching ideas like, "Great, we'll do that one. Great, we'll do that one." Like
You're the best.
Everybody, we're doing all of them.
They're a little overrated. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Speaking of content, though,
Shots
I
fired.
do need to clear the air on behalf of our own content team. Brett from Leominster writes in, I have a friend who listens to the worst reporters on Patriots stuff. Every bad trade or move they say the Patriots should do, he runs by our group. One of these morons slagged off the promo for Deuce's new podcast, 2003, the super sequel, because they didn't show Belichick. He thinks it's because Kraft made it so. I searched for a promo for the 01 podcast and only found an audio one, which didn't mention Kraft either while he was the coach, but didn't find a video. What can I tell my friends? Because I know Kraft did not tell Deuce to scrub Belichick on the promo.
Well, think again, my friend.
Not only did he not tell Deuce, he didn't tell the person who did the promo. I thought she did a great job. Because I heard all this thing, I didn't even know it. I didn't even see it before it went out, but I heard, you didn't put Belichick in there. So I went to her. I said, did you do that on purpose? She's like, no. It's like, I had it was really long. I cut it down. And he just wasn't in there.
It was a weird genesis of that because it was initially just an audio trailer that Matt had made, and then we just put video onto it. So people were losing their mind yesterday. I mean, I'm having people.
Oh, Shaughnessy was tweeting about it today.
They're DMing me.
Did they not have a coach back then?
I had a lot of people mention it to me yesterday.
They're DMing me because of the cover we do, the people I interviewed, and they're like, "Why would you have Pioli and not Bill?" I interviewed Pioli. People are just losing their minds.
Probably
right
would
now.
have interviewed Bill if he would have done it.
No, just the important people, Paul. Sorry.
We can't post anything.
That's rude, Deuce.
I have my own clock management school.
So, when we post this thing and Bill's not
Oh my gosh.
interviewed, are we going to get crap for that?
I don't know. People were. I mean, it's like I couldn't even really engage with it because it's like, when do you start to explain? And I'm like, dude. I mean, look, I'm the hoodie guy. You think that I'm gonna go and
It wasn't intentional. That's
No.
exactly
Now,
what they say.
I will say that
What is wrong with you?
there
You're
was-
not helping.
No, there were a couple cuts where if I was doing it, like the safety, maybe you cut to Bill on the sideline. That would have been a good edit. But again, it was just a teaser for a podcast.
Fred, I'm glad you brought this up.
Which, by the way, the podcast is just audio. It's not.
And I didn't talk to Bill in it either. There was nothing against Bill. There is a Bill cut in it, and I do mention his name a few times, and we do talk about that he was the coach, and people can stop.
And before anybody wants to
crazy.
go down this road, the invitation for Belichick to be included in these pieces of content that we do is there.
Is always there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We ask all the time. We ask all the time.
Yeah.
And generally do not get access.
So if anyone's listening, that it's part of the cabal yesterday of conspiracy, and I blame a lot of your people, Paul.
Yeah.
This this predated my people yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
My guess is my people will be upset about that today.
This was the annoying people on Twitter.
No, these are the people.
Yeah, this was on Twitter. It was big.
It's the
these
same
are the people
commenting on my community articles as if we didn't have a months-long. Well, like 3 months we started planning the 30th anniversary of Robert Kraft buying the team. As if we weren't going to do that stuff.
But there is a group of people who literally thought that Belichick proofread our stuff before it got published. When he was
now
here.
that's my people.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, no, he has nothing to do with it. And no, we didn't leave him out on purpose. I
was a 1-minute trailer. I don't know. I couldn't believe it, and it's still continuing in today. And people are so angry about it. I'm like,
it's a bad look.
Why are you so
bad look?
This is getting you angry.
So petty.
I wrote that.
The absence of Bill. And especially I laugh
really
because
not
it's
helping.
because it's me. Because it's me, the Bill Belichick hoodie guy that did it.
Brian Morey was texting me all night.
Hey,
I said, "What are you gunning for the Falcons job? What are you?
He's lost his mind.
Yeah."
How is he doing? Yeah.
Not well.
No.
Yeah.
Not coping well.
I jabbed him. I said, "Listen, when we do the Hernandez biopic, Bill will be front and center." You didn't like that.
He made me snarf my Diet Pepsi last night.
That's good.
When he texted that to me.
That's good.
But
the
I don't know how many times I can if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. You don't want to believe me.
Yeah.
That's up to you. It's your prerogative. But I'm just telling you.
No.
And
people no, seriously, just tell me.
Yeah.
Did you guys purposely?
Yeah.
We're in a lose-lose situation when it comes to these things, though.
So true.
Because us responding to it, does no
that's
good.
why.
And I find myself, of course, I get defensive. It's our brand, it's our content. So I want to defend the wall and everything, but there's no use for it.
Yeah. If it was true, I would just keep my mouth shut and take it.
That's what I do.
Do you know how many times people have accused me of doing that?
Oh.
You write what they want you to write.
Right. Right.
What are you going to do?
But people
I've been
do
here
think
for 24 years.
And we've said it before. That is one thing that I love about the Crafts. It's from the day I started. We did the newspaper. They said when it comes to football, you be objective. Just don't take any cheap shots and Evan, the guys from the NFL when we were in Germany said, we use your stuff to get to prep. Your analysis.
Yeah.
Because we're objective about it.
It's because they're German. They don't know anything about football.
No, not NFL people said it.
Well, it just,
I can't even get them to give me a side look.
No, because you're not helping in this situation.
Right. You're not helping, Paul.
Yeah.
you just have to embrace it. It's not, what you do.
Yeah.
If you thought you did it on purpose, then it's worth talking about.
Yeah, I'll agree. There were a couple cuts where, you could have used Bill there, but
sure. Yeah, right. Charlie Weiss
Good
was
engagement.
in it too. I don't know.
What?
Good engagement.
Yeah.
That's how I
Social
try to
numbers
look
are
at
good.
it.
The way I
Keep it
looked
up,
at
guys.
it,
By the way, I thought it was a great trailer. Not a trailer, but a sizzle reel.
Yeah, it was well done, and I think Alex is right. It probably got more eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
These people.
Because someone made a comment about it. Did you see this? No. What did I miss?
You missed. It's not what you missed. It's what they missed. They didn't put Bill in it.
It's all
Sounded a little like Eldred there. Deuce, I agree with you.
I disagree with leaving Bill out of the trailer on purpose.
These people are so obsessed with the Boston media, whether it's us or in-house media or external media, and they think we're worthless. They think that they're that our jobs are worthless, but they spend more time talking about how our jobs are worthless than we spend doing our jobs.
Right.
So who's the one that's
who's the one not getting paid to do it?
Right. It's you sit on Twitter all day, every single day, and if somebody tweets out something, you have notifications on for all of us, and it's immediate, keyboard warrior, and it's just Get a life.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Evan
get
has
a
some
life.
pent up emotion today.
They have their bots that are crawling everything that we do.
Yeah.
See, this
All
is.
right.
This
I just
is
had to get that.
It's like
no, but
out of the way.
For Evan. This is like, you're not really used to being in this spot where this happens. This stuff, I'm telling you, it happens all the time.
I know.
It happens all the time.
I was circling the wagons, but I was like, I better not. I better not.
And Fred's only slightly exaggerating when he says that, like Mike and Tony Mike used to come in here and argue with Mike Felger, all the time back when he had his old show at the old ESPN. And they legitimately thought that, like, we have to get things proofread or checked out by football. Like, you can't write that. They wouldn't write that if they didn't get the okay. Like, that Bill was, like, going over copy with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff we've been dealing with
Matt
for 25
writes
years.
in, I love you, Fred, but there's no way anyone is going to believe Bill was left out as an oversight. Please stop.
See, but because it wasn't an oversight, it wasn't necessarily part of, like, you're just putting together a highlight to promote
from
the Super Bowl, like.
Well, I made this an audio thing. She's putting pictures to the audio I made.
That's all
and
she
you're
was
using
doing.
highlights,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, highlights generally don't, aren't
Also,
like,
if they could talk to her for
coach.
3 minutes, they would know it wasn't at all planned.
Right.
Like
She's a Canadians fan for crying out loud.
See, there you go.
all right,
but
we're
like
gonna
that,
give
like
away
that,
her identity. to these
like that
crazies,
2-second
but-
shot of Bill, like on the sidelines, like that would have done it for him. Like, oh, there it is.
Okay.
Great.
All
Like,
right. I feel
I
better.
mean,
now.
and I mean, and in fairness, like you said, we showed the safety snap, which, like, in the thing we talk about. So now I'm like worried people are going to listen to and be like, oh, you only had like 47 seconds of mentioning Bill Belichick.
You might wanna-
That's not enough. You need more. Like, otherwise you were scrubbing it. Like,
Mike, you might want to do it again.
no, I'm gonna just
Yeah.
go back through and, like,
Yeah.
Just do it over.
insert Bill.
Back to the drawing
what
board.
I wouldn't have given to have Bill Belichick sit down and do it with me. Like, come on.
Literally, though.
Let's do another podcast.
All right.
Bill Belichick, the early years.
Just Bill.
Yeah.
All Bill. Oh man, I'm excited to see how people are going to react to this because it seems like they're not going to accept any of it. So that's
the
just
trail
that'll
could
perfect.
be. We go back to the first time Bill Belichick gave Paul that look.
No, because, like, when you do these things, for example, Pioli, who's one of many that it's an extensive interview.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to cover, while you have him on the phone, a lot of stuff so that you don't have to have multiple phone calls.
Yeah.
Bill wasn't going to do that.
No way.
Spent 45 to 50 minutes with each of these people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, then we did pull. This year Bill just happened to mention in one of his pressers how Brady in 2003 he felt like really arrived, and it was like pull that, like, anything we can get of Bill. We did it in the first one too. We can't get him directly, but anytime we had sound that he had said that we thought worked, we of course try to put it in. So I don't know, people are.
So we apologize for the people who were offended,
Sorry, who
because
offended.
obviously there were a lot of you, because I did hear from a lot of you yesterday.
Yeah.
Same type of people.
All right. Let's get back to more pertinent issues.
Yeah. Do we have any?
Yeah. No. I mean, what's the latest, Evan? I know you're keeping track on OC or DC interviews.
Oh yeah, me and Deuce.
Yeah.
We were a tag team in this one to stay up to date.
Yeah.
And right now, it's honestly very quiet. There's not a whole lot of interviews leaking at the moment. So the only available offensive.
They don't need to leak now. Just ask Gerard. He'll tell you.
Yeah,
everything.
right. Maybe I should just go down the hall and ask him. The only available offensive coordinator candidates that we know they've interviewed are Zach Robinson and Nick Caley, because they did interview Shannon Waldron, but he took the Bears job, and they were going to interview Dan Pitcher, but he got promoted internally with the Bengals. So those are the only two guys as of right now that we know for a fact that they're interested in. Obviously, Josh McDaniels is kind of lurking, in the background, depending on what Bill does.
Maybe
there was a rumor today. I think Schefter. It was speculation. He made it clear it's speculation. It's not based on anything. But when he speculates, it's kind of, like when Reese speculates. There's probably something there that Bill and maybe others might be waiting for the Chiefs to see what happens, because Reed might, retire if they win it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So he thinks that Bill would want to take a run at the Chiefs' job if it comes available.
If it became available.
I did not
And
see
the
that
Chiefs
rumor.
would
I didn't see
obviously
that.
it would have to be mutual, but
yeah. That doesn't
I didn't see that rumor.
That's
No,
a
I didn't.
Schefter speculation.
I
Imagine taking Patrick Mahomes and seeing. Do you think you can get 17 points for us? Remember when this game 17-13?
Hand it off. I do think, though, this Bill thing is maybe holding up some of the Patriots staff stuff. I mean, I know that there are some guys who maybe are in limbo, the Belichick kids being probably at the forefront
But
of
if
that.
I was Gerard, the head coach of the New England Patriots, I would say I need a decision now.
Yeah, I think those are the only two as well.
That's it. I can't wait. I need to start filling my staff. You're either with me or you're out, and that's it.
I agree,
wouldn't
Fred.
wait. I wouldn't give them. I know he's probably being a good guy, letting them wait, but I wouldn't allow them to.
And I do think there's a
want
chance.
an answer.
Evan and I talked about this on Tuesday that if it's Covington, there's less urgency for those guys on defense because I think you feel like it's going to be Covington. And if Steve and Brian, you probably have ideas of how they're going to factor in. So then, and I think Reese had the thing about the assistant head coach, advisor kind of thing for Steve. So the more urgency to me is offensively, and I am a little concerned. Now, do we know? I know I've read a couple of places that Waldron did in fact interview.
Yeah.
And I also saw someone that said that he canceled his interview.
Oh.
Because he had gone. And I think that's what happened with Pitcher.
Pitcher canceled.
Yeah.
So, and I've also read, I think I read the Herald this morning that said that they both interviewed, and I didn't think that was accurate, but one of them did interview and one of them didn't.
I was under the impression that the first one had interview, but got through the cracks. We didn't really have it reported initially, and so I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
I'm a little concerned about the offensive side of things because I feel like there's a lot of movement around the league offensive coordinator wise, and I feel like, I'm not trying to be overly negative, but this isn't really an overly attractive job.
Did Zach Robinson? He's still out there.
He's still out there.
He supposedly he did come in. Well, I don't know if he came in or if he was Zoom, but he interviewed.
But I'm wondering if they're waiting to hire the OC and have the OC have latitude in hiring his own staff.
Yeah. I would hope.
I think there's a chance that it could be Robinson and Cayley.
Yeah.
If you went that direction.
Yeah. I'm with Paul on this. This is how we started Catch-22. I don't want to be alarmist, but I am worried about the offensive coordinator position because it's not an attractive job. You are building from the studs on that side of the ball.
But in that way, you can't lose. You can only go up. So,
but you can lose.
No.
What?
You can lose
because if it goes belly up, then it's you,
and you're not getting another.
No,
chance.
but it can't get worse than it was. You were the lowest team in terms of points scored.
No,
right?
I understand that, but if you take that job, it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
If you go in and you take the 32nd ranked offense with a rookie quarterback, and all of a sudden you Bobby Slowick it,
right,
and you're going to be in line for head coaching jobs.
But even if it's not that bad, Boston media can easily
But
make
if it's
it
really bad
way
and you're out of a
worse
job in 2 years, you're not going to be very attractive.
It's got to be really bad because let's face it.
Just
Again,
has to be like it
you're
has
starting at the bottom. You've got a top 3 pick. All you have to do is show improvement.
Yeah, but what if you don't?
I can't find. I think that even if Bill O'Brien stayed, it would be improved. Right?
I think Bill O'Brien felt that this last year was a blemish on his I think he felt like it was hurting his stock.
That's why he left.
Yeah, that's not why he left.
That's why he left.
I think he might have also thought maybe he should have been considered for head coach. And I think
that might be he didn't want any part of running that offense.
And
anymore.
I don't know anything,
I kind of do.
But the whole leaking, Gerard felt he had to clear the air and go on and explain what if Gerard thinks that was Bill O'Brien? That ain't gonna work anymore.
Yeah, if you want to say it was mutual, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I'm just telling you that I'm pretty certain that Billy O wanted out.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you want out when you know it.
Yeah, he wanted out long before the change was made.
Okay.
I look at this job, and yes, you can make the blank canvas argument. It's yours. It's your oyster.
Yeah.
Make it happen, right? But at the same time, you're really hitching your wagon to a rookie quarterback, and that quarterback being good.
One that you had input in selecting.
Sure.
Right.
But if it goes
he's
poorly,
not good,
if
that's
you're
worse for
Zach
you.
Robinson is on the track to be a head coach in the NFL. If he comes to the Patriots and they have a terrible season on offense, now all of a sudden his whole career is
What
off
happened
the
about
tracks.
betting on yourself and being confident in your own ability?
Yeah, some guys do it.
Yeah.
Some guys.
Those are the guys I want.
That's
Some
the
guy-
type of
if
guy
If you're
that they
afraid
need.
of this job, I don't want you anyway.
Well, that's the type of guy that they
so
need to find.
That's great. You can hitch up your britches and be all Mr.
I'm
Tough
gonna-
Guy.
I'm gonna.
And you're looking for an
If
offensive
you're
coordinator
afraid of building
because
an
evidently there
offense-
were a handful of guys
Yeah.
around the league that were afraid of trying to build
you
this
don't know.
offense. And I would give the
You
one
don't know.
example.
You're
I
speculating.
know you hate the Bengals. Yeah, but I'm speculating with fact. Like Brian Callahan going from an offensive coordinator where he doesn't call the plays in Cincinnati and getting a head coaching job, told, what's the guy's name? Dan Pitcher? Dan Pitcher, that I can stay right here and be
Okay.
the offensive
That's
coordinator with talent, and I will be in line
That's fine.
for a head coaching job a couple of years down the road.
But
You
a
don't
guy,
need to call
but a
players
guy
to
who,
get the job.
but a guy who's never been.
Or I can go to the Patriots and inherit the 32nd ranked offense under the guise of it has to get better when it just got worse after 22.
Yeah,
When everybody said it has to get
and we
better,
all know why.
including me.
Yeah,
Including me.
You're gonna come in. You're gonna be able to build it in the way
Wait,
you
wait,
want.
wait.
with
We
a
all
t-
know why. I'm
with a
curious.
top-
What's
with
the
a-
answer to
with
that?
a top,
Why?
Because of the quarterback
Oh.
and because of the talent,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
But now you're going to be involved in building it from scratch. So let's go. You believe in yourself? Do you believe in your judgment? I don't know. Do you believe in any one of these quarterbacks?
Do you think Bill O'Brien knows what he's doing?
Yeah.
Do you think he believes in himself?
Yep. Yep.
Like you could be the best coach in the world. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's going to be a reflection on you.
But why didn't it work?
I think there were a myriad of
Why
reasons why it
didn't
didn't
it
work.
work?
Why it didn't work? Because they didn't have a good staff. Number
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Around Billy O'Brien,
You're gonna-
they didn't have a good quarterback.
You're gonna build
They don't
your own
have good players.
you're gonna-
All things that are existing right now. They don't have any of those.
You're going to build your own staff. You're going to have the top 3 pick, and you're going to have input in the draft for your players.
How do you know you're getting to build your own
And
staff?
and you're
like,
and-
why are you
and-
making
and
these blanket
the-
assumptions?
And the head coach just said they got money to burn.
Gerard Mayo is going to be building his own
Okay.
staff. How do you know that
The head coach
Zach Robinson is?
The head coach just said we got money to burn. We're going to be bringing in talent. So,
okay, so
I
like 2021.
I want a guy who believes in himself and wants to build an offense because all the pieces are going to be
Fred,
there
I
to
get
build
it.
an
It
offense.
sounds great on a little slogan. Yeah, I want a guy who wants to bet on himself. That's great. But what if you can't get a guy like that?
Well, who's not like that in the NFL, really?
I just gave you 2
Yeah,
examples.
and you
Shane Waldron and
yeah,
Dan
Pitcher.
Pitcher.
And you
I don't know
just-
why I can't
Just think of like
I can't remember
Remember
his
the
first.
position you played?
No, I can't remember his first name.
Or just like think
I
of like
keep
a
forgetting his
pitcher of
first
beer.
name.
Like
Yeah.
we know you've had a few of those. So just a
I think
pitcher of
all
beer.
the elements will be here to succeed.
I think that's a crazy assumption
Why?
because they haven't had all
How
the
did,
elements to succeed in like 5 years.
But
And
now
all of a
they
sudden,
do.
this is the year they're going to
Now
have
they
it.
have the
So this is gets
How did
back
it
to
go
the
for
why. The
Bryce
why
Young in
is because Bill
Carolina?
Belichick is gone.
All right. So in your case, so no team can ever get better in offense.
Of course, you
It's-
can get better.
And
But if I have my choice between the 5 or 6 other openings in this one, I'm going to take one of the 5 or 6 others. They're better. That's all I'm saying.
because you're saying they're more ready-made, they're more ready to succeed, right?
Right, I'm not telling you that nobody will take this job.
There's not.
Someone will be the offensive coordinator.
You're saying it's not as much work involved at these other places.
No, they have better. They have better scenarios for you to succeed.
Why?
Because they have better players.
I just said they're more ready-made. They're closer to the top than this team is right now, right?
Well, yeah, every team is.
Okay, that's exactly my point.
Right.
You
so
can't, you
so
only
I don't
can
know
get
why
better.
but I don't know why you hold that against the person.
No.
I don't want that guy.
Yeah,
I don't want the guy who looks at
Yeah, I don't-
Tennessee and wants to be the head coach
Yeah,
there instead of the Patriots.
And I don't want
I don't
any-
understand
And
that.
I don't want anyone that looks at this job and pees down their leg. So,
Okay, well, that's what you're going to get stuck with.
no, we're not. No, we're not.
Evan and I have.
We're not going to get stuck with a guy that pees down his leg.
You're going to get stuck with whoever doesn't get the other jobs. That's what the fear for Evan and I is.
We'll see.
or retreads
Like-
like McDaniels or
Well,
Yeah, which would be, I think, the worst of all of these
or like a
possibilities.
guy like Kellen Moore who could use isn't exactly the hottest candidate. on
Kellen
the
Moore, I
market.
would take just because it's different. But McDaniels to me would be the worst possible
Right,
solution
but,
to all
you're
of
gonna
this.
get it's a game of musical chairs, and you're gonna be left with whatever the scraps are.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Like I would hope that you end up being right, and whoever ends up taking the job does do a Bobby Slowick.
I hope
and takes over a terrible offense. He maybe didn't have any other options with his Richie Cunningham looks, and he knocks it out of the park with C.J. Stroud.
Right. Well, I hope
that's what I would hope for.
I hope that whoever they want, they really want, when they interview, they don't let him out of the building. They make him an offer that he can't refuse.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is not necessarily the case, but when D'Amico Ryans got the job in Houston, he knew who the guys he was taking with him were. Right now, he came from someplace else, so it's different.
Right.
But he knew that he was taking Bobby Slowick with him from San Francisco, and they were, Bobby Slowick was going to be the offensive coordinator, so on and so forth. He was going to, D'Amico Ryans calls the plays and runs the defense himself. So he knew all. The one thing that the weight here that we have that's going on is, what was the plan? Who is Gerard Mayo's number one offensive coordinator target? And if it was, maybe it was Shane Waldron, and he ends up taking the Bears job. To your point, why did we not aggressively?
If they really liked him, right?
Shane Waldron, Zach Robinson, whoever it is. Yeah. But my fear is that it's taking so long because they might not necessarily have had their ducks completely in a row. Because a lot of these guys take jobs and immediately know who their first call is to run whichever side of the ball is not their side of the ball.
Yeah.
And right now, I look at it and I say I don't know if he knew who his first call was.
Yeah, that could be true.
Maybe it was Josh.
But I mean, I think speaks to what his disadvantage is. He hasn't been in a lot of places. He doesn't know a lot of people. Zach Robinson was here. Nick Caley was here.
But you see that.
Josh McDaniels was
when Josh
here.
leaves, he brings a bunch of people with him. When anybody leaves, they usually bring people with him.
And that's why I feel like Josh might have been his guy, because Josh is a head coach of the offense. That's somebody that can come in and run that side of the ball, hire his own people, do the whole thing. Josh McDaniels comes back, so does Nick Caley, so does Bo Hardigree. So, and all of a sudden you have a staff.
Yeah, Mick Lombardi.
On that side of the ball. Carm Brasillo already took the Giants job, so he's not available. But I'm sure he has somebody else. Maybe Cole Popovich comes back.
Does that excite people? Or am I the only one that's
No, it doesn't excite me.
Not wanting that to happen.
Josh?
No, I think what was exciting to me was the Rams guys and, starting to just let's get a new offense in here. We've had two offensive coordinators over the last, not counting the Matt Patricia year. I mean, over the last 20 years, you have two guys basically running the same offense for the most part.
But I think Evan's question is, who is your main guy? If it was Shane Waldron, why didn't you get him? Was it a money thing, or was it just strictly an opportunity? He saw that one as better than this one. And if that's the case, then you should have upped your ante a little bit.
I mean, it could be as simple as...
Or is it, is there someone out there that they just haven't got to yet because there's 4 teams still left in, and there's something they want to pluck, somebody they want to pluck from one of those 4 teams, and everything else is just a charade.
Yeah.
Right now they're just gathering information, but the guy they really want exists on a team that's still in the playoffs.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, that's the optimistic one.
I hope that that's the case. My fear is that guys like Zach Robinson, who's probably one of the hottest offensive coordinator names on the market right now, is probably looking at the Patriots job and saying no thanks, because there's just better jobs. There's just better jobs.
Well, I mean, just look at Waldron. I mean, he's going to a team that has the first overall pick.
We have Patriot plates. You got Tavolino. You got Skipjacks, Davio's. You got all those restaurants up there.
Angelitos.
Yeah.
We got Top Golf
Five
now.
Guys.
Yeah.
Topgolf's not far.
Top Golf down the road.
What's wrong with that?
See, I was also getting some recent feedback that you and I haven't been arguing enough lately.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
That explains a lot.
So we gave you what you want.
By the way, we were told to do that. Bill Belichick called us and said, I want you to argue.
Bill said, I want more.
So we did it.
I want more turmoil.
Yeah. We were told to do that.
No, but I think that, sort of, and I know that you're being tongue-in-cheek a little bit, I don't hold it against Zach Robinson if he feels the way Evan just said. Yeah. I have a choice between, just say, for argument's sake, going with Jim Harbaugh and being the Chargers offensive coordinator, or going to the Patriots. I don't hold it against the guy who says,
right.
I think I can work with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, right. That's my point.
To me, that's not a sign of weakness.
There's just better jobs. There's just better jobs. And it's Fred's pitch, right? It's, let's say that Zach Robinson, just to use him as the example, Zach Robinson has an affinity for Jaden Daniels. is getting ready for the draft, and he looks at Jaden Daniels, and he's like, that guy's going to be a star.
That's what you have to hope for.
Yeah, that's what you have to hope for. And I think that in Chicago, either Shane Waldron is sold on Justin Fields or he's sold on Caleb Williams. We'll find out in 3 months which one it is. But one of those two guys he's like, I can do it with this guy.
Yeah,
So,
I wonder, it's complicated, but I wonder, if either Matt Groh or Elliott Wolf already know the quarterback they're going to take at 3. And you bring in the prospective OC, and you say, who do you like? And he doesn't like who you know you're going to pick. And it's like, well, you're out.
Cross him off the list.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I
No,
hope
that's plausible that they talk about that.
Do you think they already know that kind of stuff, though, at this point? I don't know. It seems
would
like
hope
it's
so.
The quarterback? Just
Yeah.
the specific quarterback? I do.
I would hope so.
Not whether or not they're taking him at 3. But I think that Fred's right.
They would.
They have their,
think out of the
power
quarterback
rankings.
class, they have to know which one they like the best.
I mean, I guess the combine is important. I think
I get the hand
I think
size.
Drake May's going to play in the Senior Bowl.
No.
Oh, he's not.
No,
Okay.
Penix and Bo Nix.
Penix and Bo. Yeah. So, what are you waiting for? I think you've got. I guess there might be some medicals that you want to talk about
certainly on
with the
Penix.
guy.
Yeah, you got
in the one-on-one interview.
in hand size.
Hand size.
Wrist size.
Hand size.
Wrist size.
Big.
Yeah.
For receivers.
Big.
That's why I didn't make it.
Tiquan.
You can't have
Small gloves.
Ask Brock Purdy. Small hands.
Yeah.
Can't play in the rain.
I would have been the darling of the combine.
Why? You got big hands?
Big hands.
Really? Alex, gripping a basketball?
Almost.
Maybe.
Wow.
It's like Manu
Okay.
You
Ginobili.
could palm a basketball?
Almost.
Oh, the
You know what they
The
say
women's
about
one.
you know what they say
Hey,
about
I can
It's
I
still
can palm a
impressive.
woman. I can palm a woman.
you know what they say about women with big hands.
Yeah?
Big gloves.
Big feet.
I don't know what they say.
Big something that could get you in trouble. Not.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
Had to break up the hand talk.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio
Where-
at patriots.com
there.
is the email address. We'll do picks later,
Oh, yeah.
so we kind of have to hurry, even
Yeah.
though there's only 2 games.
Fred's very excited to do the picks. Have you noticed? Alex pretended she was in a traffic jam today.
I
to
did not
avoid-
pretend.
to
and
avoid having to do picks.
I sat with my car off on the Mass Turnpike today for a full
I heard-
hour.
I heard it was a
and
mess.
Deuce said, "Hey, if you gotta pull a Yui, do what you gotta do." But then Paul tweeted at me, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna push through."
Good for
Pull a
you.
Yui on the
What,
pipe.
was a big accident?
So, little
Manu was
off-topic,
better jackknifed
but
on the Santa Ana.
a tractor trailer truck jackknifed carrying lumber. So. It was just 2x4s. They shut down the
Wow.
whole pike today.
Oh, my
and I was like 10 minutes into
Ah,
my
not-
commute to work.
And you know the pike because there's like 10 miles between some of those exits.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
You got nowhere to go.
I told Deuce someone was expecting a delivery to build their house today,
Yeah.
and they're going to be
No.
significantly
And
delayed.
they got the
in their
50-degree
construction.
weather.
Oh.
Perfect.
Wet.
Yeah. It was a
That
mess.
stinks.
It was
All
a
right.
mess.
Thanks
Hope
for
everyone's okay.
Thanks for toughing it out, Alex. We
Yeah,
appreciate that.
we do.
Thanks for allowing me to shame you and take me to work.
Should we go to the calls? Start getting the listeners involved
Sure.
here?
Hope so.
Mix it up a little bit.
Dave
the
Canales,
first call will
do
be
you
like,
guys
Oh,
see
we
this?
didn't even get to the news.
what's the news?
What is
Patriots
the
signed
news?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
God,
Yeah.
this
Big.
was- Did,
big.
did you know that?
Big.
Did you know that people made? There were some memes that were going
We
around
memed.
about this. Like
I
how
do.
many memes are we?
And
we
I
all
know-
get it. It's
I
the
did
only
not know that
majority.
there were memes going around because
I know
don't
we
really follow
created
any of
one
that. That's
on
why I'm
our
useless at
social,
those meetings.
and I got emails that why isn't Bill in that meme?
Right. Phil Jackson
Well,
would have been.
goat.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah,
why
right.
wasn't it just goats?
Right.
Phil Jackson would have been there.
All the comments were like, "Wow, the new social team's popping off." It's like
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
us actually.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm making fun of you. Anyone that
Yeah.
is on us, I'm making fun of you. All right.
Gonna do a
So
lot,
let's
too.
start with Josh in Dallas. Hey, Josh.
Hey everyone, I don't want to be nitpicky, but on Tuesday when you were referring to the Gerard Mayo quote, you guys were just talking about how he said that they were going to draft at the most important position, but the actual quote was that they're going to draft the best player for a position that's very important. And I feel like that still leans quarterback, but to me it could also just be like a tongue-in-cheek way of saying the holes are obvious: quarterback, receiver, and tackle, and so whoever the best player at one of those important positions is there, that's who we're going to take.
You're right.
So I just
You're
wanted to
right.
see what you guys
You're right about what he said, but
Yeah.
I would disagree about your characterization of those 3 positions. I
No,
don't think
but-
wide receiver ascends anywhere near the other
like
2.
but like Josh said, he could have been doing it tongue in cheek.
Oh, I totally think
yeah.
he did.
Yeah. Because
I totally agree with Josh.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, compared to like maybe guard or nose,
Right.
I think.
So they're not going to draft a
positions,
guard from Chattanooga again in the first round. Is that what you're telling us?
That's not.
Hopefully
nice.
not.
Yeah. So he has mentioned quarterback, receiver, tackle a couple times in some of these interviews. So whether he feels that way, the front office feels, someone's feeling that way in the organization. That's on Gerard Mayo's side that. Those are the three biggest needs, which I don't think anybody would argue with. So
look at the depth chart; it's obvious. I mean,
yeah.
Not that tight end is the third overall need, but that's a big
I would
need
say
too.
tight end is every bit as big of a need, except for you don't take a tight end.
Thanks for the call, Josh. Unless he's a generational talent, which there isn't.
Like Kyle Pitts.
No. There's a
well,
better.
that's what he was.
There was a.
But
better
they were
tight end.
wrong.
It's just not that important.
Right.
There's a better one in this
Brock.
class.
Kyle
Pitts is a really good receiver prospect, but he was always like a jumbo receiver. He wasn't like a hand in the dirt block.
And I know he got hurt. I got yelled at for making fun of him yesterday. On my shows.
You like to give you some Kyle Pitts.
I wonder what's going to happen.
He's one of your
Kyle
favorites.
Pitts. Kyle Pitts is one of those players that like if he gets in the right system with the right coordinator and all, like I think that his issues are not talent. I think his issues were that Arthur Smith was not using him properly.
I would agree with that, even though I was critical of him yesterday.
How about
I may have had him on my fantasy team.
Oh, there it is.
Eldred in North Carolina? What's up, Eldred?
Hey, Alex. Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good.
Another one. Every time he calls in,
because
he has to talk to the women
because
and just ignore everybody else.
He says fella.
He's polite. He says
just
fellas.
ignore the rest of us.
Gentlemen.
Either that, you're saying lady.
Tamara.
That sounds weird.
Alex.
I appreciate it, Eldred.
You're good.
Yeah,
Don't
you're
listen
supposed to. You address the lady in the room first, then the fellas.
It's a gentleman.
Someone taught
I
him
wouldn't.
class.
I wouldn't know about class.
Southern
You're right.
gentleman, right there.
What's up, Biggie?
Hello.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, I lost because I couldn't crank the car up. Okay, but my question is about the offense coordinator. I feel like y'all do. I'm kind of antsy, but it could also be that he's a rookie coach too, and maybe some people don't want to. Besides the cover, it's bare here.
Yeah.
So you think that might be it also?
I could be, but I think that's an advantage because I think the OC is going to have more autonomy because he's a rookie coach. The rookie coach is going to have to lean, or should be leaning on his coordinators.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the appeal. If there's any appeal for Josh, it's the experience factor.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's coordinated an offense before, he's head coached teams before, so he knows, how to do those types of things. I think, Kellen Moore is now starting, the Eagles, the Browns, other teams are starting to interview Kellen Moore now that Harbaugh's in the charge, another guy that's coordinated an offense before, that's called plays before. We're not doing all new everywhere, and I think that is a factor.
Plus, Josh can fix Mac.
Marvin says that ESPN just said that the Panthers hire Buccaneers Dave Canales.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the head coaching job
with Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
God help
him. Evan,
as they said in Rocky, I wish him well.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Evan.
No, I do not.
From the guys, from the people up here at Panther Stadium, and my friends up here in North Carolina, they also Tar Heel. They say if you draft Drake May, you're gonna be sorry that you ever did.
Oh.
And for the years they've been watching him, and like I said, we watch him. You watch a couple of film strips.
Right.
We watch him here, and like I said, that's another Zach Wilson.
Oh,
TNT.
okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, Eldred.
All right.
We'll see. Eldred, down on Drake May.
You have film strips of the guys? Like
remember those?
No.
Beep.
But
Here he
don't.
is.
There's
I
no
do.
way. You
I
had
do.
film strips in school?
Yeah.
No. Projectors, maybe.
Right.
Film
But
strips.
I did tell you about my storage problem on my computer, that I have so many clips of film that like I need an external hard
You
drive.
need the cloud.
That's
you need
called,
a storage. You
that's
need a
called
cloud
porn.
storage area.
No.
You need to
When-
clean
when-
out some of that.
Use iCloud.
To
When
him,
it-
Yeah,
to
just
him it
use
is
the
porn.
iCloud.
When
You
you
can have
mean
it on your
porn,
phone.
you mean Joe Alt pancaking people, right? That's what you mean. Yeah.
Well, to each his own. Whatever floats your boat.
Jess, get in here.
Yeah.
Joe Alt.
Did you see
Go.
this? Did you see this? Watch the hand placement.
Oh God,
Did you see
Evan,
this?
you're right.
All right. He's done with Joe Alt. He goes and takes a shower.
Kick post. Kick
He
slide.
probably doesn't want Jess to see how excited he gets,
no.
realistically.
Kick step, punch.
Yeah, I know. When I watched Joe Alt, I did take a shower afterwards. I was like,
Oh my
oh
God.
my goodness
Instant ick.
gracious.
Neek is in Australia. Hey, Neek.
Oi.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Really upset Coco Gauff
just want
lost
to say-
this morning. But,
Oh,
yeah.
Australia.
Just want to say quickly that Evan, I really appreciate your film study and breakdown.
Thank you.
You've really made it easy for someone like me to understand it a little bit more. I think the job you do is phenomenal. So
Thank you.
Great hire by Fred. But
yes,
if we do get Josh McDaniels, which hopefully we don't, which quarterback fits his scheme the best out of the three? Is it one in particular or all three of them?
McDaniels?
Fitz McDaniels. I mean, this is the reason why
they bring him back.
This is the reason why I've been talking myself into Drake May, is because I think if you're gonna go with the more of that like traditional, like we need somebody that's gonna be in structure, that's him. You know, that Drake May is in my opinion the best in structure quarterback in this class.
Like Mac Jones was.
Yeah, but with bigger, taller, better arm strength. You know, like a guy that a more toolsy Mac Jones.
Okay.
And if that's
Evan, does his system still is it a bit outdated, Josh McDaniel's system, or is it still something that holds up? Because I don't know, I didn't watch a lot of Raiders games, but I don't know if the offense was down this year, but has he?
It was down until the new guy came in.
Fired, so. Pretty good.
Then they started playing well.
I think that there's a deeper conversation about like the difference between like system and scheme, right? Like scheme is like your play designs, and I think that what the Patriots used to do offensively, schematically, is still sound and can still work in the NFL. My concerns are more about the system side of things, of how they're getting in and out of plays, the control at the line of scrimmage on the quarterback, the adjustments on the routes. I think there's a lot of information that gets thrown at players in this offense, and I think it can be difficult for players that are coming from these college systems, especially, that are nowhere near as complex, and now they're getting put into these NFL systems like the McDaniels offense, and then all of a sudden, a quarterback especially, there's just so much on your plate. Yeah. And I feel like for some of those guys, it's a difficult adjustment to make.
Thanks, Deke. Appreciate the call. L from Wisconsin writes in, when talking about having a head coach of the offense, Evan said that Josh McDaniels might be someone they're looking at because he, quote, would have a staff and knows how to be a head coach so he could run that side of the ball. I would just argue that Josh, in fact, does not know how to be a head coach.
Well, but he's not the actual head coach.
Right. It's just the offense.
He knows. But I think most of us are on the same page of like just running it back with that same old offense, and it's not
a concern for me. And in fairness, I know like the Raiders stuff, like they didn't have any offense with or without. The Raiders' lack of offense, it's not like they started lighting it up with Aiden O'Connell down the stretch. They won some games, but it wasn't because they were suddenly putting 40 points on the board every game. Yeah. They won some low-scoring games too, and I don't think it was all McDaniels' fault.
Their defense,
Did I not order
definitely
food?
turned it up.
Oh.
I told you.
I was standing right there.
I mean, Evan got up and got himself something.
I'm going to pass out.
We can order up at the top.
Yeah, you want to do something like that?
We can do that.
All right. We got to take a break because Paul's food's here. Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
And we are back with another edition of the PU Halftime Show. As always, joined by Faith Worrell, and we are going to start with some trivia like we always do.
Of course.
So, question one. In a win over the Buffalo Bills, in 2012, which Patriots wide receiver caught a touchdown pass where there is an iconic photo of him smiling while making the catch? I believe it
love
was
a good
touchdown,
smiling
too. I
photo.
believe it was a touchdown. Do you know that one?
No.
Oh.
I was 12.
You've definitely seen the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different story. All right. These 2 questions are faith questions, so I hope they're correct. In a 2010 game against the Dolphins, the Patriots set a new league record by becoming the first team to accomplish which feat? All right. Wow. That's it. That's a good one. That's a hard one. And
from
number
the Patriots
3.
Hall of Fame website.
Okay, there you go. And question 3. Julian Edelman became the second Patriots wide receiver to win a Super Bowl MVP honors in Super Bowl 53. How many receiving yards did Edelman have in the Super Bowl? All right. I might have asked that before.
Well.
That's a deep cut, a PU halftime show deep cut.
See if anyone remembers.
All right, so we're going to run it back like we did the other day. We're going to do some start bench cuts.
Yep.
And so first, Faith, start bench cut. Arrowhead Stadium, MB&T Bank Stadium, and Ford Field.
So I'm going to approach this question like playoff scenario.
Okay,
like
that's
you're hosting a playoff game, what atmosphere you want to be in. First of all, I think all 3 of these stadiums do home field advantage right.
Yep.
Like they make it hard for opposing teams. I feel like in terms of this season, I feel like I should start Ford Field simply because of how much has like gone into this.
All right.
Like if you're talking about like this season, I just feel like there's so much passion and excitement around it. Like I'm bought in on the Lions story, so I'm going to start Ford Field, which is I think in other years probably not would have been the case. But we're going to start Ford Field. Arrowhead is like I've been told I've never been to Arrowhead. I've been told it's like should be the top of everyone's bucket list. But also MB&T Bank Stadium, they've got like the marching band, like it's like a college football environment. So I'm going to have probably a hot take and put the Raven Stadium as my bench, and then I'm going to cut Arrowhead.
Okay, interesting. So I like what you did with Ford Field.
Yeah.
But you can't start them because everybody in that stadium has never witnessed a playoff game, more or less.
That's true.
So I'm actually going in the order it is Arrowhead,
okay,
the Raven Stadium, and Ford Field. And honestly,
fair.
Ford Field, it reminds me of the Lions losing on Thanksgiving. That's all I can think
That's
about. So
fair.
maybe they'll become a juggernaut for a couple of years, but
that's fair.
That's how I'm going to do it. All right, number 2, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill.
I feel like you'd be a little crazy to not start Tyreek Hill in this situation just because of how versatile he is.
I think he's one of the most dangerous players in the league.
Yep. I think CD is unfortunately a product of his environment to some extent. Like you can only hit such a ceiling because the rest of the team can't seem to get further.
Got it.
He's an outstanding player, but I think he's one of those like stars that's kind of stuck in the Cowboys curse.
Yep.
So I'm going to go benching A.J. Brown. I'm going
to do the same thing. A.J. Brown did it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Should have been Patriot. That's a different story.
Well, yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna leave football. All right. We're going to leave football.
You're crazy.
All right. FaceTime, phone call, or text?
I'm such a fan of FaceTime.
Okay,
like even if it's just like my best friend from home, she'll FaceTime me in the morning and we'll just be like getting ready together, talking about our day.
FaceTime's the best.
FaceTime. But then I'm going to go text and I'm going to bench phone calls. For some reason, phone calls are like stressful to me.
That's why I can never do sales because I don't even like talking to my friends on the phone. It's awful. I get my desk phone goes off and I don't even want to answer it.
I'm like, don't touch that.
I'm a big person. If somebody calls me and I send it to voicemail and then I'll text them.
Yes,
and that might be a red flag for me, but it is what it is. All right, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter is a good one. And recency bias might kick in.
Yeah, true. I'm such a Marvel fan, so I have to start Marvel. I actually, as of recently, watched all of the Harry Potter movies.
Okay.
I had only seen basically the moments you would see like on TikTok or Instagram, like from Harry Potter movies. I really hadn't watched them. So recency bias and the fact that I really enjoyed them, I'm gonna bench Harry Potter and I am gonna cut Star Wars because I haven't made it through all the movies.
That's tough. I'm starting Star Wars. I'm benching Marvel and cutting Harry Potter, but Marvel is on my list right now because it's been awful.
Oh, I have not been watching the newer
stuff. It's been bad. So, and I know Matt's gonna hate that for me, but
he's gonna hate me for cutting Star Wars.
Oh, that's true. But
it is what it is, people.
And then we'll finish off with this one. It's supposed to be winter.
Yes.
Even though it's 55 degrees today.
Yeah.
Skiing, snowboarding, ice skating.
So I have never skied or snowboarded, but I put this question in here for you because I knew you would have more of an opinion. But I think we're gonna go on the premise that if I was to try those other 2 activities, I've ice skated before. I think I would start skiing. I'd probably bench ice skating and probably cut snowboarding only because I'm really bad at like wakeboarding, and I'm assuming to some extent maybe those skills are just not gonna translate. So
all right,
I don't know.
I'm starting snowboarding.
We have the opposite
obviously, benching ice skating, and I'm cutting skiing.
You don't like skiing?
They all think they're better than you, and I might get crucified for this. You look like a herb if you're skiing. It's very hard to look cool while skiing.
That's fair.
And I'll leave my DMs off so I don't get attacked by the
turning
ski
all social
crew.
media
Exactly. All right, that was a fun one, Faith. Thanks for these start bench cuts, and let's get back to the halftime show or the regular show.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
I'm really embarrassed about this. It's an embarrassing moment.
All right.
Very embarrassing. So
It's a funny story.
I'm at the party with my wife, and this is before everybody got their rings, so it's still early.
Okay.
People are still arriving, and I'm standing kind of in a middle area where, as people go by, I'm talking about Jonathan Kraft and people we work with, and Tom comes in with Giselle.
That would be Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. Okay.
Well, with Giselle, kind of is the giveaway. But anyway, so I said, "Hey, Tom, how you doing?" And I stuck my hand out for a handshake.
Uh-huh. And he came in for the hug?
He came in hot.
Brady came in really hot. Really hot. So hot that I kissed him on the cheek.
Wow.
So
going for it.
So you went in for the hug, and Fred did the George Costanza inappropriate.
And the moment I did it, I'm like, oh, what did I just do?
Did he react to it?
He's so tall, I don't know.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered, 855 Pats 500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline, but also the divisional championships are here. So it's time to score big and save big on Bob's top-notch recliners, entertainment centers, and sofas. Stop by any of Bob's discount furniture locations to test out comfy, cozy seating with plenty of storage for cold beverages, your remotes, and game day snacks. Make every Sunday a Super Sunday with Bob's, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. So you better hurry because AFC and NFC championships are this weekend. You want your furniture before then. Get your brother-in-law who's got the pickup, borrow that, go down, don't wait for delivery because, you want to get it in before Sunday.
You got to get that delivered.
Right? Everybody's got somebody that has a truck, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get that delivered.
Yep.
They do a good job.
Yep. All right. 855 Past 500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. We did have trivia, Paul.
Oh, nice.
Don't look.
I don't look.
We had trivia at halftime. In a win over the Buffalo Bills in 2012, which Patriots wide receiver caught a touchdown pass where there is an iconic photo of him smiling, making the catch? And I remember that photo well.
Brandon Lloyd.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Brandon Lloyd. Yep.
Brandon Lloyd. The winner is Adrian Lopez. Congratulations.
I believe that was a picture that we nominated for the NFL's Best Pictures of the Year.
And now my food comes. In a 2010 game against the Dolphins,
good enough, Deuce.
The Patriots set a new league record by becoming the first team to accomplish which feat?
2000 what?
2010 game against the Dolphins.
They returned a blocked field goal for a touchdown, a blocked punt for a touchdown.
You're on the right track.
Interception for a touchdown in the same game.
They scored in 5 different ways.
Okay, that was close enough.
Let's see. They scored a rushing touchdown, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, a receiving touchdown, Danny Woodhead, a kickoff return for a touchdown, Brandon Tate, a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, Kyle Arrington, and an interception return for a touchdown. Who did that?
Nink.
No.
Patrick Chung.
Patrick Chung is correct, Paul. No winner.
Shot.
Nobody got that one.
That's tough.
And finally, Julian Edelman became the second Patriots receiver to win a Super Bowl MVP honors in Super Bowl 53. How many receiving yards did Edelman have in that game?
137.
Close, but no cigar.
142.
No, 141.
Oh, I knew it was right around
Okawayan. got that one. So congratulations there.
I would have been eliminated in that because I would have answered Deion Branch.
Yeah, right.
Based on the way the question started.
Yeah.
He was the second wide receiver to win Super Bowl MVP. I thought who was the first was going to be the question.
That was where my head
So
was
I
going
would have
too.
been out.
Who do you think had a better Super Bowl? Deion Branch or Julian Edelman?
Kind of comparable. I don't
know.
know.
I'd say Edelman because it came harder. What? No, I mean it was a tougher game. What he did came. He had to work harder for it.
Please don't do that to me.
I always felt like some of those catches that Deion Branch made, I don't know how he held on to them. Like he was just so sure-handed and absorbing contact.
I could make an argument either way. I just feel like there was more offense in the and I thought Branch could have won the MVP in the Carolina one as well.
Yep.
I think they got it right. I think I would have gone Brady too because I have a biased for the quarterback. But that's a good question. I think Branch was more impressive, but you could definitely make an argument either way.
I think the catches were tougher, but Julian Edelman was uncoverable. And the routes that he was running, just the separation.
And you could give him more points for really being the entirety of the offense.
Yeah.
Until the fourth quarter when Gronk took over.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they were celebrating and Matthew Slater came up to him and was like, "Did you win MVP?" And he was like, "Yeah." And like everybody kind of knew that he was like,
Slater was like, "Oh,
you were kind of our entire offense today." So I imagine you probably won MVP.
Yeah.
Slater was upset because he didn't have any proper name to call Julian. Julian's his name.
Julian.
You know how he just refuses to call anybody by the name that they go by. It has to be his.
Maybe he added his middle name or something.
Yeah. It was like with the J.C. Jackson. He called Gerald this year. I think
he called Hoyer Axel.
Yeah.
So
he's got a nickname for everybody. Hey, did you see that Gronk stole your joke?
My joke?
Yeah, they did it. The social media thing. We're professional athletes, and one of Gronk's was, we're professional athletes. Retired. We're former professional athletes. Of course, we're going to make a joke about CTE when we can't remember something. And I was like, hey, that's Paul's joke.
That is true.
They were good. They're funny.
That was funny. Part 2, they could put some clothes on. Like they're thirst trapping hardcore to maintain some relevancy. But
all right, you
obviously worked on you.
Clearly not.
That was not what I was thinking.
The phone lines are lit up like a Christmas tree. So let's get to that. We'll start with Nathan in Ohio. What's up, Nathan?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
I just want to say thank you to Evan because he's the one who got me into podcast listening in the first place, along with Alex Bart on Patriots Beat, so I would have never discovered you guys without him.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of compliments today. I'm flattered.
And for my question, I want to say, would you guys entertain the Patriots doing something like taking a quarterback at 3 and then moving up like the Texans did to 5 or 6, giving up future capital to get a tackle? That way you get 2 positions solidified for the future.
Well, so the Texans had the 12th overall pick in the draft from a previous trade. Yeah. So when these things get thrown out there, we have to remember the Texans didn't trade up from 34 to 5. They traded up from 12 to 5. So it's a much different situation.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, right, thanks, Nathan.
I would just say generally, and I think this will be a topic we talk about, like pushing all the chips into the middle of the table this year. It doesn't really seem like the year to do that. You need your picks. You need to hit them. You need to, not just let's just get 2 guys and we'll be back on track. I think you need all these draft picks, and if anything, I
am intrigued by that. And I hate trading down, but I think in a year like this, it might make some sense. But I think Evan did a good job of sort of explaining. I think there's this notion that if you trade down from 3, that's going to let you take 3 guys in the first round. No, you're going to switch spots with whoever you trade with, and probably add depending on how far the team goes. You'll probably add a future 1 or a future 2. If it's just a little move, you're going from 3 to 6, you're probably adding a second-round pick and maybe a future second-round pick or something like that.
Yeah. Which sounds great to me.
No. I'm not telling you I wouldn't do it, but I think that people think,
7
well,
picks
that way you can get instead of getting Jaden Daniels, you can get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Joe Alt. It's not going to work that way. You're not going to get 2 top 10 picks out of it.
Right, because I and not to pick on the caller, but
No, I'm not picking on the caller either.
I think people for the Texans had the Browns pick last year because of the Deshaun Watson trade. So they had the 12th. They had the second overall pick and the 12th overall pick. So they traded up from 12, which is a much different conversation than trading up from 34. So like Paul is saying, you can't do. You're not going to get both of those.
But you can still make a good trade. I'm not telling you forget the trade down. No, you could still make a good trade. And
if you're not sold on one of these quarterbacks, then it actually makes sense to trade down.
And I talked about this a little on Tuesday. Yeah, the further you go down the quarterback tree, the less the quarterback generally is. But that's not necessarily the case at tackle, and it's definitely not the case at wide receiver. Yep. Now, you might have a special one in Harrison this year, and I'll grant you that. He might be a little bit different, but there are a lot of good wide receivers taken as you go down the list. Like, the third, fourth, fifth wide receiver is a lot better than the third, fourth, or fifth quarterback.
Especially in
a
this
lot
class.
better.
Yeah, and this class is loaded. And we were talking about this on Catch 22, and you look really around the playoffs this year, and this is one of those years where the diva bona fide number one wide receiver really wasn't what carried teams. You know, you look at teams like Detroit, that those guys are all day 2 picks, Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You look at the Niners, like Brandon Ayuk is their highest drafted pick in-house, and he was like late first round, not a top 10 type of guy. So there's definitely a lot of evidence right now that you can build it a different way without, being Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase or Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill.
And the poster boy for, you can't draft a, receiver without having the pieces around him is Garrett Wilson. Yeah. But the Jets thought they were going to have Aaron Rodgers throwing to him.
Yeah. That's not when they drafted him. They thought they were going to have Zach Wilson throwing to him.
But if they had, if Rodgers had been the quarterback, that would have been a great pick.
Yeah.
When they picked him.
But what I'm saying is they picked him with Zach Wilson.
I understand that. But they thought Zach Wilson was going to be good.
Right.
He wasn't. Then they got Aaron Rodgers. We wouldn't be talking about Garrett Wilson being a bad pick if Aaron Rodgers
I don't think Garrett Wilson was a bad pick. I'm saying that's an example of you knocked it out of the park and it doesn't help you win.
Unless you have a guy to throw to him.
Right. I'm not telling you don't take Marvin Harrison.
But I'm saying if you take Marvin Harrison now and you don't get the quarterback till next year, all of a sudden Marvin Harrison becomes a good pick. Yeah,
and then the argument against it is if you waste a year of that, then you end up getting into the high price category. If he hit, I don't think you could do any better with a pick as Garrett Wilson. I think he had 2 really, really good years.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year.
So now if you're the Jets and you get Rodgers next year, and so now you have your quarterback straight. So now that's 3 years in. He continues to be really good. Now do you have $120 million to pay him?
Well,
because that's coming.
Right.
Like you're going to pick up his 5th-year option. That's only going to piss him off. You know how the receivers are. You know how those receivers are, Mike.
Especially Stephon Diggs.
Right? You watched him drop that bomb the other day. I didn't know who was more excited. I told you.
That's a real thing.
Or Evan.
That's a real thing, Stephon Diggs.
No,
that guy is trying to get his one-way ticket to Dallas.
But I do think that's like part of the – at that position, that's got to be part of your thinking. Those guys are high-priced.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They try to clean it up. They measure themselves against other receivers by the check, the paycheck.
Yeah.
That's respect for that position is how much you paying me.
Yep.
I would also say though that there is the flip side of that is that it's cost control to draft it, right? So
if I have a great quarterback, I'm fine with the cost control for the same reason. Like they took Burrow and Higgins at the same time.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase.
No, but like the same draft was Burrow 1. Right. Higgins was the first pick of the 2nd round.
Yeah, and then they took Jamar Chase.
So I have these 2 guys, and then they double up by getting Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Like that works, but now you got to figure out how to pay him. But at least you got 5 years of production.
Right.
Yeah.
Not 2 in Garrett Wilson's case.
And that's always, Garrett Wilson's a great example because that's always been my thing is like, all right, so if you take Marvin Harrison Jr. this year, and then just for argument's sake, you got Shador in here next year. Shador is ready to take the team to the promised land. What in 2 years, 3 years after they draft him? So now you're in year 4 of Marvin Harrison Jr. and now you're hitting your window, which is when Marvin Harrison Jr. starts to get expensive.
Right, and so that's my point. Yeah, Fred, and I don't think that we'll look at it if they took Marvin Harrison this year at 3. I don't think that we would look at it and say, wow, what a bust. No, I don't think that. I think he's good. No. And I think he would be a good player. The question I would have is, how much does he help you if you don't have the other part answered?
Dylan's in Maine. What's up, Dylan?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, Jerry.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, what's the deal with the International Player Pathway Program?
What do you mean? Like, how does it work?
There's a player from Wales that just declared for it, and he'd be a very good wide receiver.
Okay.
I think we should. I don't know how we'd get him.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they go to the combine, and any team that takes that person from Wales, it's an exemption on their roster. But they have to keep him on the roster for I think 2 years. But yeah, he won't count against the 53 for whichever team takes him.
That's not true.
No, he doesn't count against the 90-man roster.
Oh, it doesn't count. Okay, it doesn't count against the 90.
Yeah,
right.
If he's on like Jakob Johnson counted against the 53-man roster.
If you keep him, then he counts.
Yeah.
But you get an extra guy at training camp if you go through that program.
And then once I think you have to keep him for 2 years. Is that right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that detail. But it used to. I don't know if it's new now because it used to like almost the player was like assigned to you, right? Like it was like a group of.
That's how I understood it, but I don't know the
It wasn't like the player had free agency
Okay.
to go and sign anywhere. But I don't know if they've changed that rule since.
No. Keep an eye out for the Welsh receiver.
He's one of the better wingers for Welsh rugby, and he just declared the other week. So I don't know if we can keep an eye out for him. But
All right.
get him.
He's a
All right.
winger.
Sounds good.
Good-
Thanks, Dylan.
good ball
Maybe the
carrier.
Bruins can sign him.
Oh,
well, they need a winger.
They need secondary scoring, dudes.
They always do.
Okay.
They always do.
Although they have been doing pretty well with secondary scoring
I
lately.
feel like
Trent
they're
Frederick?
okay there. I
You
feel
getting
like
some
it's
Trent Frederick stepping up.
Trent Frederick is
DeBrusque?
okay. I don't
Trent
really
Frederick
think anything of the rest of them. Like the Danton
DeBrusque?
Heinen is not going to have
No.
3 pucks
No.
deflect off his skates into
But
the
they
net most
could,
games.
I'm more worried about their frontline guys, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Coyle.
Coyle is the first round.
Talk
first
about
line
hockey
center.
on your own
First
time.
line center, Charlie Coyle.
He's played really well.
Yeah.
I love Charlie Coyle.
Michelle's
You
in
know, but
South
he's
Carolina.
from
Michelle, will
here.
you get these
Yes.
people back on track, please?
Who do I need to take care of?
Uh-oh.
Take care of Paul and Evan. They want to talk about hockey, and this is the Patriots.
Oh, okay. Guys, even though I love hockey, you got to knock it off.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Michelle,
Knock
sorry.
it off.
Scolded.
Take it, let's get back to reality here, what we're talking about. Hey, guys, I'm trying to get rid of this damn barred owl in my tree. He keeps pacing my car with his poop, and I want to shoot him.
Oh, you can't shoot an owl. You get in trouble. Yeah.
Who?
He's a pain in my butt.
Oh. Well,
Anyways.
okay.
I got no owl tips.
So these Patriots, that was a good leadway. But could this OC search have something to do with Mayo not wanting to make decisions on the offensive side of the ball because he's not used to doing it that way, and he doesn't want to have to make the choice about keeping Mac because Mac
He's
was showing
indecisive
himself
'cause he doesn't
around.
have
Well,
experience. I
listen,
think
if
that's
you
what
want to take that burden of the Mac decision off your shoulders, hire an OC and let that person make the decision.
Yeah.
You know?
Or hire a general manager, which we're alerted to, apparently.
Yeah.
I think that this is like a factor in the fact that these OC candidates, who's making the personnel decisions in this building right now? And do I trust that guy that's doing it?
Who liked Michael Jordan?
And-
Who's like, we got to get Michael Jordan?
Right.
According to Gerard, he said he is.
Yeah, yeah.
He's making the personnel decisions.
He says he's in charge, right? All the people. I think somebody asked him recently. It was in the EEI,
Oh,
like
boy.
with all these interviews and everything that's going on. Who's making the decision? He said it's all me.
Oh God.
I missed
oh my
that.
God.
You didn't. He said something like that. Maybe
I
somebody
did
can-
not catch that,
somebody
but
can-
I didn't listen to the EEI
Somebody
interview.
can check me on that.
So
and then give me my flowers.
But is he going to let the OC bring in his own people?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Because I think
Okay.
that's one of the reasons why Bill O'Brien didn't stay, because he wasn't allowed to bring in his own.
There's been some speculation on. Well,
Thanks, Michelle.
yeah, that's one reason. The speculation that I've seen on bringing in guys is on defense, that some of these guys that they're interviewing for defensive coordinator might actually be more position coach related.
Yep.
If Covington is the guy, there's one guy that had some ties to Covington from college.
Yep. Yeah.
Forget which one.
Hodges from the Saints.
Sounds right. Yeah, the linebackers coach from New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think there's been some speculation that could be kind of like last year when they had Adrian Clem in for ostensibly an offensive coordinator spot, and he wound up being.
I kind of feel that way about Caley too.
Line.
Like somebody like Caley, is he really ready to be an offensive coordinator with the, the system he just came from with Sean McVay? Like, I mean, it seems more like let's bring some familiarity. He's not probably ready yet. Like maybe Zach Robbins is ready, but he maybe you bring them as a package deal kind of thing.
Yeah, I think Christian Parker from the Broncos also is their secondary coach, their DBs coach, and like I look at that and it's like, all right, if you're going to lose Brian and Mike Pellegrino because maybe they go with Bill somewhere, then now you have these are him, Tem Lubica, Hodges from the Saints. These guys are all great candidates to be position coaches on
and
your
I
staff.
read Bert Breer early in the week sort of speculated that some of these might be with an eye toward filling out the staff.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Defensively, I haven't heard any of that offensively, but Caley would be an example.
Chad in Atlanta writes in, what are the chances that they don't actually hire a GM and Mayo ends up being the pseudo GM, kind of like how Bill was? He wasn't pseudo, he was the GM. Anyway, Kraft did say in his solo press conference that he didn't like the idea of having one person choose players for someone else because he thought there may end up being discourse and finger-pointing. However, he also said that Bill had earned that role, so I'm kind of confused at this point. Grow & Wolf smells too much like Patricia and Judge. I don't like it.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I just think that there's nobody in charge right now that we know of that has final say on personnel. And I just think that there's a confidence level of if you're getting hired as an offensive coordinator and you're going to a staff that, the Eagles, for example, like you're going to a building with Howie Roseman running personnel, that you can have a lot of confidence in that Howie Roseman's going to draft good players and that they're going to have good talent on the offensive side of the ball. The Patriots just don't have that right now, in my opinion. And I think that when you have a GM, it's like kind of having like one voice, right? You have one, this is our message. This is what we're about. This is what we're trying to build here. And right now it feels like, is that Gerard? Like, I guess like that's just Gerard trying to relay that message to these people.
Darpin in New York City says, great job as always, particularly this weird for us younger spoiled Patriots fans, 4 and 13 year. I could always depend on the PU crew to say it as it is. One comment and one question. Comment. When you talked about how ownership might have a hand in Josh and Gerard being exposed to more of Bill's work, it got me thinking why Bill never actively did that with someone as his successor. And then it occurred to me he did do that with Matt Patricia. Patricia came back after his Lions stint and basically did Ernie Adams' job, which I'm sure holds great importance for Bill. He even reportedly handed out and even negotiated contracts. Then Bill puts him in charge of the offense. Taking it all, it seems pretty clear Patricia was and is Bill's chosen successor. Not relevant anymore, but still interesting. It was that guy who was basically a disaster most places he coached. I disagree. I don't think Bill did that with the idea that he was going to be a successor, because Bill knew that he wasn't picking his successor. We've talked about it before.
Whose decision was it?
The Krafts. Right. Yeah. So, no, it was a comfort level. I think he believed in Patricia. I think he thought he was smart and he could do a bunch of different things.
Patricia was down bad after the Lions, too, that stint. I feel
well,
like it was like
he had
bring
a tough
him back
time.
here, build him back up.
Yeah. He had death threats.
He's down bad now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
The question, if Bill is left standing when the music stops, should Gerard consider hiring the people who reportedly left with him? My instinct would be no, because I would question their commitment to the Patriots, but I'm very interested to know what the PU
Who reportedly left with him?
Yeah, nobody left yet.
Nobody.
They're all in limbo.
Well,
yeah.
Now, I don't think that there's some of those guys I don't think will be back, but they're not going to be back no matter what.
Right.
Like Joe Judge.
Yeah.
Cam McCord.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think those guys are going to be back.
I like in terms of taking Bill's guys back, like I would take the Belichick's and Mike Pellegrino back. Like I think that's different though. Like you look at guys like Judge, like that's a true Bill loyalist. Like you can't have him here.
And in terms of Eldred saying hello to
I was just
Alex
Eldred.
first. Tony from Virginia says, in the military customs and courtesy, it dictates you always address the women or woman in the room or formation first. So there you go.
Okay.
Damn right.
What about equality? What happened to that?
I'm all for chivalry.
How about chivalry?
Yeah.
Poor Jess.
You know?
I'll take the chivalry.
I'm not watching Joe Alt again tonight, Evan. I'm not doing it.
I'm old school. I'll take that.
Alex
Me
in
too.
Raleigh, North Carolina, just want to say that all the haters can suck a golf ball through a garden hose. The 01 podcast was awesome, and 03 will also be even better. Being 6 years old for 01, I don't remember where I was exactly for it, and being 8 for 03, these podcasts are the best way to explain it all again from a different perspective. Haters will always be there. F them.
Agreed.
I'm with Paul and Evan. Give us the new coordinator on offense and do not retread an OC. Please. We need the update of this to this decade of offenses, please.
Oh, don't say modern offense. That'll get them all triggered, too.
It does.
Evan
that
spent,
triggers
like, a whole
people?
weekend fighting with people on Twitter after that.
So why you guys just have to stay off?
It feels so up in the air on the offensive side of the ball, and it's like even with the defense, it's like Steve, Brian, Pellegrino, they can come, they can go. Like, you know, you think they'll be all right. It seems like Covington's going to stay, but I have no idea on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Troy Brown's going to be down there coaching at the Senior Bowl. Is he back? You know, what if they
That's
hire
such a weird
Zach
thing,
Robinson to come in? Like, is Troy Brown going to teach the receivers how to, you know, what the McVay are? Like, there's a lot of moving parts. On the
Troy
offensive
Brown
side
at
of
the
ball.
Senior Bowl thing is kind of weird, isn't it? Like, is he going to be down there like representing the Patriots? Like, I just because you know
He should be down there representing himself.
You know me.
How
like,
far ahead does that stuff get planned?
Senior Bowl stuff?
Yeah, like
not far.
who's going to be the coaches?
Like after the season
Yeah,
ends.
I mean, probably, after, because so they know what teams are available.
Right.
And who's
Yeah.
going to be coaching.
I'm not, by the way, against a retread offensive coordinator. I just don't want our retreads.
Yeah.
I want to change our offense.
It's
I don't
not
want
asking much. Just don't make it Josh McDaniels.
And I love Josh McDaniels.
Yeah,
You guys know that.
give
I
us
have a
just
great
something new.
relationship with him.
There's only two guys.
And if you told me that he has an extensive background in that system, the Rams, you know, McVay or Shannon, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how he could, but if you told me that, I wouldn't be against him running that offense.
Yeah.
He's not running that offense.
But I don't think he's running that offense.
No,
like
he's running his own.
There's other guys that are going to be available that have coordinator experience that I wouldn't mind taking a shot at.
Would you consider Nick Caley a retread?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now
was he tight end? He was tight end.
He was tight ends here for 8 years.
So that was like so he made a lateral move to go to.
Yeah, because he wasn't considered an offensive coordinator.
How does he look in tight pants?
Yeah, really good. Really
Okay,
good.
so he could do it.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't
He plays the part.
I wouldn't be opposed to him only because at least he has like that full season of immersion in that.
Yeah, because I
offense.
heard Devin McCourty talking on one of the million shows that Devin does nowadays.
His shows.
And he just mentioned that he went out to L.A. for the playoff game. You know, talk to those guys, and he talked to Caley for a while, and Caley said that, you know, they do a lot of the same things fundamentally, like they're coaching a lot of the same fundamentals with the Rams, but they just deliver it differently. And I think he really enjoyed like the different experience of coaching.
Mike in Charlotte says, am I the only one who thinks Gerard is not ready for this job? I feel like there was a 2-year succession plan in place to get him ready and get Bill to retirement. But when the season did not go as planned, Robert caved to public pressure and replaced Bill with a guy who's not ready. I just don't think handing the keys to a $7 billion franchise to someone who's never even been a coordinator is very good business.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's what we're all wondering, and it's coming out now in these details of how he's putting the staff together. And I think, you know, for me, I was initially encouraged by some of the different people that he's, you know, interviewing. It shows that, you know, they're expanding out a little bit and breaking this kind of cycle of just the same kind of thing. But look, there's no question. No one's going to sit here and be like, oh, he's totally ready. Like, I don't know, but that's like, you know, part of what this is with Gerard Mayo, and clearly everything that the Kraft said about him, he's earned this opportunity in their eyes, and that's all that matters. So I don't know. I think when we were getting into this like post-Bill stuff, it kind of felt to me like no matter who it was, it's a few-year guy, and unless he's really special, that might be it. You know, like you're gonna get on this cycle of what most teams are, and maybe Gerard Mayo's special, but you know it's hard to sit here and tell you yes, he definitely is. I don't know. That's what we're gonna have to watch.
Yeah, like I don't think he's ready for it, but I don't think that it's because he's not capable of doing it. The pushback that I keep having is like he has no adults in the room with him. There's nobody in there that has been a general manager, that's been a head coach before. You know, Antonio Pierce and with the Raiders, he has Tom Coughlin as like a senior advisor to the head coach that's like holding his hand through all of these things that he's doing for the first time. Like, who's doing that right now for Gerard Mayo? And that's not on Gerard Mayo. That's on the organization. Like, we have plenty of people that have come through this building that can do that for him. Like, there's plenty of Scott Piolis and Thomas Dimitrovs and all these different people. Like, call up one of these people and have them come back and help him through this, because it's not fair to give a 37-year-old head coach. Now he's hiring coordinators. He's worried about the draft. He's going down to the Senior Bowl next week.
Good point, Evan.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
I think it would help. I don't know if those guys would help as much, but like, because Coughlin, Coach Pierce, like, there's a connection there. With a former coach helping, a former player. I don't know if a GM does that.
Like, who's the guy that was with the Falcons that worked for the league? I forget his name. Like, he'd be good.
But even if it's like a head coach.
Because he understands, like, the whole ins and outs of the business side plus the football side.
Even if it's a head coach.
Rich McKay?
No.
Type of person. Like, even if it's not one of the GM guys that have been around here. Even if it's a head coach. But I think a GM, it's just John Robinson.
GM would help.
Mike Lombardi.
Ziegler, Mike Lombardi.
Who?
Like, I am not a big fan of his either. But, like, these types of people that have been around, that have done it before, right now, like, I just feel like it's all on a 37-year-old first-time head coach to figure all this stuff out.
All the things that Evan says, I think would be valuable. I just would rather it be a coach than a GM. Now, I would like both. And the whole thing with Groh and Wolf, like, people, like, I understand these guys. I think people are like, why are we sticking with these guys? Well, they're going to continue to evaluate the talent.
They've done all the work already.
You need someone to evaluate the talent.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make the pick. I think that it certainly sounds from what Fred said that Gerard's going to make the pick. I definitely missed that.
Yeah.
But, this whole collaborative process is going to be interesting to see how it works out. I don't think collaborative works. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, someone has to be the adult in the room and make a pick.
Well, I think
and to Evan's point, I'm not sure there are enough adults around Gerard Mayo.
Collaboration works in gathering the information and sharing ideas and opinions. But at some point, somebody's got to make the final decision.
Right. I agree, Fred.
I just feel like the boss right now of this football operations is a 37-year-old who's never been a head coach in the NFL before.
Yeah.
Who has never coordinated a defense on his own before.
He's a leader of men.
So to answer,
he's a fantastic coach. But he's
by the way, Alex,
you
did a nice job with the story on Patriots.com right now.
I'm Evan. It's okay.
What did I say?
You said Alex.
Alex.
I
good
wrote
job.
Gerard's story.
Evan interviewed some of the former linebackers on the traits of Gerard Mayo, so you can read that on Patriots.com.
Hey, you got Hightower.
I did get Hightower.
You got Hightower.
I did get Hightower.
I read it in traffic this
Jamie
morning.
Collins.
I got Hightower, and
I don't know if you guys know, Alex got caught in traffic this morning.
After I did the interview with Hightower, I was like, "Look, I gotta ask. Do you want to come back and coach? Like, are you interested in coaching?" And he was like, yeah, my wife has been on me about it, and I'm thinking about it. So I recruited him. I gave him my best pitch. I was like,
he was tweeting eyeball emojis last month.
Yeah, I was like, this is what you should do it. Like, you'd be great at it. I know Gerard has talked actually on the record about how he thinks Hightower would be a great coach. They need a linebackers coach, and he's a pretty good one. So.
Yeah. Okay. Travis in West Virginia, a little off topic here. Paul seems to think that every time someone bashes Josh Allen, it's because of an ulterior motive such as jealousy or hatred of the Bills. I have no ulterior motive. My evaluation is honest. When I watch him play, I feel there is something missing from his game that leaves him far short of the greatness you all think he possesses. So far, I'm right, you're wrong. He hasn't accomplished diddly poo. Also, I hate Coco Gauff.
He's right and you're wrong.
Ooh. I just would disagree that he hasn't accomplished diddly poo. Yeah. I'm not one of these guys that just closes my eyes throughout the whole year and then says, "Oh, by the way, who won the Super Bowl?"
Yeah, that's the only guy.
That's the one that accomplished something.
Yeah.
That's not how it works for me. I watch games. I watch how games are won. I watch how much a guy has to do with the game that they won, and I give him credit for that.
Yeah. There's one
thing some people don't unless it's a Super Bowl.
You give him credit for, there's one thing to say this guy is incredibly talented. And that's where I give him the credit, right? He's an incredibly talented player, but it is fair to say that he has no MVPs. He has never made a Super Bowl. He's never won a Super Bowl. Like, in terms of resume, Like, he hasn't accomplished.
I know, but watch it. Is he a good quarterback?
That's what I just said. I said he's super talented.
But just watch what it takes for them to win games on a regular basis. Not like every single game, but on a regular basis.
He's the guy.
Watch the difference between winning and losing. And more often than not, when they win, he's the reason.
Oh yeah, he's incredible.
There aren't a lot of games like the Dallas game where they just line up and run it 100 times, and that's how they win the game.
And even their run game, like it in the second half of the season, they started really running the ball well, and it was because they let him run. It's
because of him,
right? Like, so all of a sudden they're letting him be a threat in the run game, and now the run game works. And
people say the same stuff about Lamar Jackson.
Right.
He's never won anything. Right. Just watch the games and see why the Ravens win consistently.
But the emailer is correct in his thought that whatever Patriots fans don't or like, Paul will take the opposite.
No, that's why I changed it to Lamar Jackson, who doesn't really seem to get under anyone's skin. He will this week.
Wow.
If they happen to lose,
as good as Brady.
This isn't about Brady, and
it's always about Brady.
But see, I'd like to think that our listeners are a little bit more evolved than the average Patriot fan.
Yeah.
I think our listeners actually watch the games and don't just react to what everything is written on Twitter.
My question is, how do you fix Josh Allen? Like, that's like the question. I think he's fascinating because you're right. Like, when they win, it's because of him, and when he tries to do too much sometimes, though, like at the end of the game last week, it doesn't happen. And
but what did he do?
Just not taking the underneath stuff, trying to force it down, being a little bit more aggressive. But it's it's
make
situational.
The field goal and you're at least tied.
No, it's situational, but it's the same. But it's the same stuff with him, though.
They're
right?
in chip shot field goal range. Make it. Right. He didn't.
Well, even outside of that specific game, isn't it kind of the same stuff with him when he loses? Like, that's what it is.
Do you know who
it's
has
all on him?
Do you know who has the
either
least amount of turnovers
doesn't.
as a quarterback since 2020 in the playoffs?
Who?
Josh Allen.
Okay, but I'm saying,
but if you ask everybody, the reason why Josh Allen is not quote unquote that good, it's because he turns the ball over too much. But he doesn't do that in the playoffs.
But how would you fix him? Like, that's my question.
I don't think he needs to be fixed. That's my point.
But how would you put it around him? Like, he's got Stephon Diggs, who's an excellent wide receiver.
Coach.
They went more to a running game. They said all last year, I got to be better about my decision making.
How much better could they have played offensively in that game than they did?
I know. And
they scored every time they got the ball.
And then
that's what I think is so interesting
throws a 70-yard pass right into
a guy's hands
and he
3 times.
No, and that's
three times.
It's
you're wrong, though, Deuce. You're wrong.
I'm not saying.
No. We're on the same side. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm giving you my view.
I think they need a new coach.
I take
and you might be right. That might be the thing that's keeping them back. They consistently get in shootouts with the best, and I've never said that Josh Allen's better than Patrick Mahomes. They consistently get in shootouts with the best shootout quarterback who's ever done it.
Yeah,
I think that they
lose.
I think that McDermott's gotten them as far as he can. I think McDermott has plateaued, and he's not a big game coach, and I think it's mostly on that.
That might be right.
He can't get any redder.
I'm saying that he's, there's always the coach before the coach for a lot of these guys.
No. I think the Sean McDermott. I would feel much more comfortable questioning him, who's supposed to be a defensive genius and yet cannot stop the other team in the playoffs.
Yeah, or just
like they don't even slow them down.
The DeMar Hamlin fake punt. On your own 30-yard line.
I mean, I think that one was a check, which wasn't his fault. But
they didn't. That's what they said after the game. They said after the game it came from the sideline.
I think he did exactly what a good coach does, and he took responsibility for it, much like Bill did with Patrick Chung back in 2010.
Maybe.
I think that's what good coaches do.
I look at that because I think in some respects.
But I think it was an automatic check that happened on the field that I think if McDermott had said, you can't do that now.
Not from your own 30.
I was always under the impression that Chung
they only had 10 guys on the field.
Yeah. I still remember the clip of that, of Bill talking to Chung as he came off the field, and it was just like one of those conversations we all had with coaches, like, oh my God, he just walked away, and you could see Chung kind of like palms up, like, oh.
I think that,
I think there's a lot of truth to what Evan's talking about with McDermott.
Yeah, it reminds me, and I hate saying this because as a green teamer, I hate saying this, but it reminds me a lot of the Celtics right now, where it's like either Jason Tatum is going to take them to the promised land or he's not. And that's just like, no matter what you put around him, no matter what else you do, and none of it's going to matter unless he's ready to do it.
He's got to hit those shots at the end of the game.
Yeah, and Josh Allen's the same way.
I know.
When he's ready to win a Super Bowl, they'll win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Todd's in North Carolina. What's up, Todd?
Hey, guys. Suffer through this loss of hearing. A quick point. Are we putting Fred's lips in the Patriot place once he sheds this mortal coil? Because I think we kind of, need something like that.
My lips?
But, yeah, you kiss Brady, dude.
Oh. You waited half an hour to say that?
I didn't think it'd be half an hour, Fred.
Oh, okay.
There,
You can just email that in. I'll read it. I'll read it with emphasis.
Anyway, my question is, it looks like we're going to have to get some new staff in. So are you going to be more happy with a new, like a person in to the role of GM, or a person new to the role of offensive coordinator? Which one do you think we should probably end up having?
Well, do I have to choose? Like
both. You have to choose.
Yeah,
both.
I'd rather have if you're going to have a GM, I'd rather have somebody new to the OC job than GM. Like, am I really helping our 37-year-old coach by bringing in someone who's never been a GM before?
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Well, we already have two of those. Like we have Elliot Wolf and Matt Rowe that can do that.
And you don't like that?
Well, I don't. I just think I need an adult. I need somebody that's been and done it before.
But at least there's people here that have been like doing the work, whereas there's just like no one on the offensive side right now.
No, but like, would you rather have Elliot Wolf as the GM and some new guy as offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Or a new GM who you love and Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinator?
I'd rather do the first one.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think they need both of them. I think they're extremely important positions that need to be filled.
Playing the game. You told me to choose.
No, he did. I told you I think they're both really important.
Chose and then you yelled at me.
Yeah, I'd rather have the best of both.
I didn't yell at him.
You know.
See, now you got them all wound up. I didn't yell at him. This is on you, Deuce.
It's my fault.
I don't think either one's good. All right, then don't ask the
No,
question.
it's the opposite. I think both of them are very important.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but it just wasn't fair.
I don't know. There's something appealing about a young GM because I just think for these next couple of years, it's like just find talent, identify talent, bring talent in, build the talent on this team. I don't know where they're going to go postseason, all that stuff in 2024, but that to me is like, and if Josh McDaniels is out there coordinating for a little bit, fine. But that's to me, find the talent, get the guy who can find those.
The biggest issue with the team. The biggest issue with the team is personnel. It's talent on the field.
Yeah.
And so they have to have the best possible people in place to get the most talent.
I would also say coaching was a problem last year too.
It was, but I think that their roster talent was the reason why they were picking third overall.
Give me a good offensive line coach, please.
I'll take stuff I never heard during the course of the season, please, for 200, Deuce.
Yeah. Raymond in St. Louis. What's up, Raymond?
How's it going? I just had a quick question. I know podcast is the biggest thing right now. How did y'all pitch a podcast back then when podcast wasn't as looked at? How did you pitch to get this idea across then?
Well,
yes, Mr. Kirsch.
Tell
us how you did it.
I'll tell you, Raymond. It's a good question.
You can take this class at Emerson. So
no, I mean we were always on the cutting edge with the Patriots because of Jonathan Kraft, and we actually our first one was with the Revolution. We had the general manager of the team. We did a call-in. Back then there was no iPods, so the word podcast hadn't even been, labeled yet. So this is back in like '99, and we did. I forget what the name of it was, but it was an IP-based.
I think it was In the Net or something like that.
Yeah, no, that came after. It was like GM's Corner or something like that. So we would do that, and then we would record it and then put it up there for people to listen afterwards or download to. Well, they didn't even really have downloads.
What did you
yet.
call it? Like internet radio show?
Yeah, it was just an internet radio. Or they called it IP radio.
Yeah.
And then we did the next year. We did the Patriots, and we did two shows. We did the show with Paul and me, but we also did one called Patriots Cyber Cafe.
Yeah.
And our PR guy at the time, Don Lowry, would sit in the lunchroom with the players, and he would just pull players over while they were eating their lunch and interview them.
And they would just talk.
But listen, that's great. If we could do that now, I'd do it.
I can't even imagine. It'd be amazing.
If we could set up
I would
in the
do it just so I could eat in the players.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
No, but that was, so we did that back in the old stadium before the new stadium was even. Then we've been doing it ever since. And then, of course, when iPods came about, then podcasts, then there was a way to download it onto a device. Even before the iPhone, it was
that's
the iPod.
why we're still the world's original podcast.
Right. It was the iPod that came before the iPhone, and you could download it and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a good question, Raymond. Thanks for asking. I'm always happy to talk
Back in the days when I dropped my first F-bomb on the show.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, that was back
I was mad at Brian.
We had
that
an
day.
office in Walpole
Oh.
because the stadium wasn't built yet.
It's God's country, I heard.
Yeah, no one gets under Paul's skin like Brian Morey.
Oh,
Even now, he hasn't even been here for like 5 years.
He's still
got the
mad at
touch.
him. Yeah. Boston Cream is calling in. What's up, Boston
I
Cream?
want to thank you, Boston Cream. That honor was really
so
special.
Funny. What did he come? What was the rating Paul came in with?
Who knows? Near perfect.
Thank you, Boston Cream.
What was this?
Much appreciated.
158.3. He said Paul came in as like the highest ranked media member in Boston based on his ranking.
You got a little banana in the tailpipe there?
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Yeah, it was like
Are
my
you fine,
38th
Deuce?
season.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm not sick.
Yeah. Who was polled in this? Was it all people
Boston
from
Cream.
Everett?
Extensive research
Oh,
from
yeah.
what I gather, right?
It's Boston Cream.
He consulted with PFF.
All the donuts checked in.
Okay.
The jelly donut.
Unfortunately, the analytics information isn't public at this point, but it has been triple sourced.
It's a proprietary formula.
All right. Will you be presenting at the Sloan Sports Analytics convention?
Yeah. I don't really care to discuss the future of analytics here, but I'm trying to spearhead it.
Okay.
The reason I called in, guys, it's an off-season show. This is way too much football talk.
Well, there are some things happening here. It's not your typical off-season here with the Patriots.
We got picks. You gotta hurry.
Oh.
I may allow for that.
But listen, Bill Belichick told us
question
we
is-
have to talk about this.
In exchange
You
for
guys
not putting
go
him
to a
in.
Super Bowl party. You have first-round pick on the food. What's the first item hitting the plate?
At a Super Bowl party.
Buffalo chicken
Buffalo
dip.
chicken dip.
That's a good one.
We just did that. at the
Buffalo
same
chicken
time.
dip.
We just became best friends.
I could go taco dip, which is in the same family. Got like a cream cheese base with some salsa and some
So you
cheese.
start
and you
slow.
Dip.
You
Well,
start.
It's an appetizer.
So you're all
right?
starting with the
Appetizer.
dips.
Not just
So-
jumping
Dips
right
is the
into
way to
it.
go.
The,
Buffalo chicken dip, because it's a girl meal too, though.
It
Like,
slaps.
The tenderloin sliders in Arizona.
Oh
Wow, that's very specific.
Now, if it's a
Might have had
if
about a
it's-
dozen
if
of
it's a
those.
hoity-toity party, shrimp cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Or
that's where
bacon
I
wrapped
don't know, yeah,
scallops,
we
right?
Oh, bacon wrapped scallops.
Bacon wrapped scallops.
Yeah,
Yeah, solid
you?
choice.
Yeah?
Yeah, but
That's
Really?
classy for a Super
bacon.
Bowl party,
Bacon.
though.
That budget is not.
bacon covers up the scallop. Come on, guy.
Good wings, mac and cheese, buffalo chicken dip.
Wings,
Buffalo chicken dip.
wings,
Oh.
questionable at
Oh.
that
Little
Super Bowl
messy.
party? You're
stand
not
up.
eating wings?
Standing up,
What about
eating,
you,
that's
Boston
hard.
Cream?
That's hard.
What's hitting your plate first?
Donuts, right?
Donuts, duh.
Yeah.
You guys didn't say it. Friends off, guys.
Okay.
Uh,
What did he say?
I don't know.
I don't know. He speaks his own language.
Jess makes a mean buffalo chicken dip, though. Real good.
Well, it's about time you compliment her on something.
I compliment her
You know
all
what
the
else
time.
is very good? Crab dip. You ever have
Yeah.
crab dip?
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You don't know from the crab.
Not crab.
Do you like crab cakes?
Crab. Nah.
I'm a crab
I had crab cakes, and I'm not a big seafood person, but they were really good. Really
crab
good.
cakes are crabs. I don't know.
Let's go to Matt in Virginia Beach. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Okay.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, just something I wanted to touch on real quick. Just reading through fan blogs and whatnot, I noticed like a lot of people getting their britches all twisted up that we haven't named a general manager yet. It's given me a sense of comfort that the Patriots seem to be taking their time and really identifying who they want as a part of this new regime. I really don't care so much who, it's just what their philosophy is and like making sure it aligns with Coach Mayo and what he's trying to do and what he's trying to bring to the table. One thing I love about Coach Mayo, what he said, that the modern player, they want to know why they're asked to do things. It's so true. Just for a little context, I'm in a leadership position in the U.S. Navy, and
Thank you for your
it's
service.
beyond true that the new crop of kids coming in, they want to know why they're asked to be doing things.
Even in the military.
And even in the military,
Wow.
it's a thing. You wouldn't think. You think we would just follow orders and go, and while that is definitely still a thing, good order and discipline is still a thing. A lot of the kids, they want to know why they're being asked to do things, and I've had to adapt my leadership style to that over the years, where the whole thing going back to collaboration, it works in the military as well, where you can explain, okay, this is the mission. This is how we need to execute the mission. What are the ways we can best execute this mission to make sure that we have success? So it works for us here in the military, and I think it could work as well for the Patriots as far as collaboration is concerned. I like a lot of the things that Coach Mayo is saying.
Okay.
And
So
I just hope whoever we bring in, I hope that aligns with what he's trying to bring to the table. I think we kind of get desensitized a little bit, especially us as fans. If you make it to the NFL level in any capacity, you're not just a dope sitting in your office licking the windows. You're a smart person.
Yeah.
It's given me a sense of comfort that they're taking their time and really trying to identify the best people, and that's really all I got.
So
guys.
Matt, hold on a sec. Hold on before you go. I just what brings you the confidence that they're looking for somebody?
I think just the fact that they haven't jumped out and named anybody yet, because that's.
No, I know, but what if? What if that's
Kraft,
that's by design? This is the plan. They're going to go forward and Elliott Wolf is going to be just the guy. I don't.
Hey, I'd be all for that.
I think they need a guy.
Elliott Wolf is the guy. If he's going to be the one, because ultimately I agree, there does have to be a final decision maker. You can't just go around the table over and over and over and just spin your wheels. And if Elliott Wolf is that guy and they deem him worthy of that position, I'm all for naming him general manager, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think they need to do better, but that's me. I think they need to find a guy.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
And they're not looking. I don't think they'll. The bigger question that I had for Matt was, what makes you think they're looking?
Yeah.
I don't think they're looking. I think that this is what they're going to do. This collaborative thing, this is what we're doing now.
Well, what if they really let's just say it's Wolf.
Then I think they would have said it.
No. Maybe they want to keep things going until after the draft, and once the draft is over, they will say it.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that could happen. But I want to talk to people. I don't understand why we're closing ourselves off to having people that are only here.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
I also think.
But I think the Navy, they're the most cutting edge branch.
I couldn't agree with you more.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining millennial army, we got to take out that encampment up there. Why?
I don't mind doing it.
No,
but
why? There is something
They're shooting at us right now.
We have trust issues.
No, but
we need to see the vision.
It's going to be really
whatever
hard.
it is, I know firsthand. Not that I was in the Navy, but I have a learning thing.
Yeah.
And algebra, I couldn't get it. So and not for a lack of trying, but when I finally did get it, and I understood what was behind it, I could teach it because I thoroughly understood it. And I think there is something to understanding not, what we're doing, but why and how.
Any free time, you want to help TJ out a bit?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. And so I to this day, I usually don't get things the first time around. It takes me a little bit longer, but once I get it, I really get it.
How did you push through that frustration as a kid? Because I'm experiencing that as a parent right now where if it doesn't come easily to them, and a variety of things, sports, academics, it doesn't come easy. I can't get it. I'm stupid. I'm not going to do it.
That's also our generation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We like to do things that are easy to us. Right. The second that you feel something that's super challenging to you, that's what I think a lot of younger players in the league struggle with this because they've been so good at football their entire lives that once they get to this point and they actually start to struggle a little bit, it's okay, I give up. Right. I think that's something that I've definitely noticed from.
And then we're back to Jason Tatum and Jalen.
Come on. I wasn't.
No, it's a good question, Deuce.
No,
and
I'm with him.
I
You
think
see
how
it.
it's being
when
taught.
it's easy, they're great.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a question that I'm as a parent right now, just because it's dude, you get so frustrated the second you don't get it, and now you're just in this spiral thing of I can't get it, I can't. It takes a little bit of time. Focus on it and work. It's hard to push through that initial frustration.
It is. All right. It's that time of the week. Gotta hurry.
Alice.
What happened? How bad were you?
I gotta find out who's playing.
I can only think of one game I got wrong.
You were terrible.
Paul, what happened last week?
Well, I told you that there is someone who has a feel for the league, and that's really shining through in these postseason games.
It me?
It's fine.
Is it Deuce?
He was matched by Evan this week in the overall. Evan and Fred 4-0.
Wow.
Whoa.
Mike, Alex, and Paul 3-1. But where it really separates
No,
is
I'm 4-0. That's all I heard.
is with the spread. Fred also went 4-0 with the spread.
He just turns it on in the postseason.
Well,
Evan and Paul went 2-2.
That's what happens.
Mike and Alex
Womp womp.
0-4.
Ooh. Well, I'm not good with the spread.
So here we are.
It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Overall, it's Fred at 9-1.
Wow.
Mr. January.
Evan and Paul 7-3, Mike 6-4, and Miss Traffic Jam at 5-5.
It was lumber.
Lumber.
There was lumber everywhere.
2x4s.
Fred with the spread, 7-3, followed by Paul at 6-4, Evan at 5-5, Mike and the Lumberyard at 3-7.
The Lumberyard.
Lumberyard.
All right. Well, we've basically got 3 games left. Two this weekend and one more after that. So let's see what happens.
We're not going to pick the Senior Bowl?
No.
I think the West.
What about the Pro Bowl?
No.
Oh.
We'll bet on the skills part of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Mac is most accurate.
All right.
He wasn't even most accurate.
3 o'clock on Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Plus it up.
The 11-6 Chiefs are at the 13-4 Ravens.
Baltimore by 3.5.
Baltimore. All right. I'm going to do it. I think it's Baltimore's time. I'm really kind of mad at myself that I didn't pick Kansas City last week because I remember saying to you, Paul, during the offseason, during the end of the regular season, I'm like, I feel like this is kind of like the 06 Patriots where they don't really have it, but they're going to knock a good team off in the division. I said it, and then I didn't go with it. I was wrong. Anywho, that's a long way of saying similar to 2006 when the Patriots ran out of gas because of, the flu, of course.
Well, they pumped it into
They
the
pumped it
locker room.
in, and plus noise, they pumped that in too, so no one can overcome that. But I'm taking Baltimore. I will lay the points. I think it's their time to go to the Super Bowl with Lamar.
I will second that.
I'm going to take Baltimore as well. By 3, though, right? The spread is
3.5 is the spread.
So I'm going to take Kansas City to cover.
Wow, the hook.
But I really like Baltimore because now they have a complete team. Like, it's not, they have defense. They can run the ball. They can, rely on Lamar, obviously. But that defense is playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, I made that comment to you last week about their defense, and then I watched the game, and I was like, no, it shows up. I mean, I kind of felt like it was a little overrated, but it was not overrated last week.
Yeah.
And they were missing some key pieces, too, like Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, I mean, their linebackers fly to the ball.
That Roquan Smith trade was huge.
Kyle Hamilton is what we wished Kyle Duggar was. Like, that guy's just a freak. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I'm with Evan. I'm going to take Baltimore to win. I think they're at home. I think they get it done. But I think Kansas City is
scrappy.
Proud enough to keep it within.
Oh, yeah.
3.
I mean, they're the Patriots. They're the modern-day Patriots. I mean, you can't ever count them out.
Fred, they've won 2. Patriots won 6.
But when it comes to
Talk to me when you win
Talk
7.
to me when you get to 6.
If you check the DVOA of their opponents,
but you can't ever.
The Patriots were
they
better.
got Patrick Mahomes, so
They're
you can never
EPA.
count them out. But I am going to go with the Ravens in this game.
Are you taking the points or no?
What do you mean?
You going with the Ravens? Are you taking the points or are you giving the points?
The Ravens will win by more than the points.
Okay.
I can't wait for this betting or this.
I can't believe I'm losing to this guy.
And I'm losing.
Mr. January over here.
Before we get
I'm losing by 2 games in both.
Before we get to the next
only
one, I
one
just
in the
want to
spread.
tell you whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan, guys. So DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots that we can't use, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Only bet what you can lose. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more all about safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here. Now this is where I talk really fast. 800-327-5050 or gambling help in...
Void and lower 58.
Gambling help in
MA.com.
Must be 21 plus.
I did
Play
this
it smart
for the sports up.
Play it smart from the start.
Hotline,
Game says
MA.com.
MA.com. Physical presence in Massachusetts. See DraftKings for gambling resource.
Jimmy Stewart doing those is pretty funny too, and he has to rifle through those things.
All right. Now we get
If you
to
have
the
a gambling problem, go see somebody about it.
Now we get to the second game at 6:30 on Fox and Fox Deportes. I think both these games are good, but this one's a toss-up. I really do think. It's the 12-5 Lions, of course, against the 12-5 49ers.
Great game.
Niners by 7.
Bunch of man football in this one. Gritty.
This might sound silly, but I really found myself hating Brock Purdy last weekend, and I really have been kind of neutral on him the whole time.
I found myself laughing out loud. He got a grin ear to ear.
There's also a girl on TikTok, you've probably seen her name, Anna Fry, who looks exactly like Brock Purdy, and that's why she's internet famous right now, is a girl on TikTok who looks like Brock Purdy.
Is she not famous?
Tells me everything I need to know.
She's not famous. She's just a TikToker that looks like Brock Purdy. Some people out there know what I'm talking about. I wish I could
I'm
vote.
sure you all do, except for me.
I wish I could pick Detroit in this. I'm going to be rooting for them. I just think they're a great story, but I'm gonna take San Fran, but I'm going to give the points to Detroit. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I'm going the same way with Mike. If it were my heart, it would be Detroit winning, but it would be so fun to see.
I mean,
It's a lot of points, though.
It is a lot of points. I'm taking Detroit.
That's why they're taking the
Detroit
points.
will cover.
I'm going to do the same thing, but I think the Niners in this game play a lot better. I think the Packers, it's a bad matchup. They know each other really, really well with the two coaches having a relationship, and the Packers always seem to play the Niners really tough. I think the Niners are a little bit easier in this one, maybe like a backdoor cover or something like that for the Lions. I take the Niners.
Yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco both ways. I think that outside, first of all, Jared Goff is not the same, and I feel like what Evan said about San Francisco, I think they got their mulligan last week. They should have lost the game. Green Bay outplayed them. They should have won the game. I think they get that reprieve, and they played much, much better second time around. And to me, it's all about the defense on Detroit. It's so bad. I think this could be one of those games where Evan's like, I'm not going to listen to Paul on Tuesday because these guys are just wide open. Anybody can make. And I think he's going to be right this week. These guys are going to be wide open, I think. And Purdy's going to look a lot different.
I think a lot, I don't know if Deebo Samuel is playing. What's the stake?
It's like 50-50.
He probably is not going to play. And if he doesn't play, I think it comes down to Brock Purdy because I think the Lions are going to come in.
I feel like I'm going to make your argument for you.
I think
now we only have 7 other ultimate guys.
No, I think the Lions are going to come in keying on McCaffrey. That's going to be mission one, is limiting him. And so Purdy's going to have to throw the ball in this game, and that's going to be a big question. But despite that, I do think the 49ers prevail. But I think there's going to be some turnovers involved, and I think it's going to be closer than that spread. So give me the numbers.
Yeah, at least I have a chance.
Give me the.
I have a chance to catch them.
Give me the numbers, but I do think we're going to see a rematch of the Ravens and 49ers Super Bowl. And hopefully this time somebody guards the electrical outlets and they can keep the power on.
That's true. That is a rematch.
Not a rematch.
It's not a rematch?
Fred doesn't believe in rematches.
Why not? Why isn't it?
Because you say that there's no such thing.
If the last game was in a Super Bowl and this game is in a Super Bowl, it's a rematch.
Well, their last
game wasn't a Super Bowl.
Oh, it wasn't?
No. Yeah, they played earlier this
season. They played
more frequently
I'm telling
in
2012.
You, if the game I'm comparing it to was also
Fred,
a Super Bowl,
I'm arguing with
rematch.
you about yourself. Absolutely, it's a rematch. In
my book, this quantifies as a rematch.
Right, but the Book of Curse generally poo-poos rematch talk.
Right. If we were talking about the regular season game and somebody said, "Oh, this is a rematch of the Super Bowl," no, that's wrong. It's not.
No,
it's not. No. Or if you just played in the Super Bowl and then you meet in the first week of the season, it's not a rematch because it's not the same stakes.
Was Super Bowl 46
Did you ever hear any more qualifications for a rematch?
But I'll tell you when it's a
was
rematch.
Was it 46 and rematch of 42? Super Bowl 46? Giants Patriots, was that a rematch? 46?
Yes.
I believe. You know what's funny about that? I think that might be what started this whole thing. When you said it's not a rematch. They're different players, different teams.
No, that is a rematch.
By the way,
same quarterbacks.
3 and 6:30. This is how it's done.
Oh yeah,
college football.
Wonderful.
Learn a lesson.
Oh my God.
Perfect timing.
Love it.
Perfect.
It was even better
why
on the West
they do
Coast.
This.
No, but it's perfect.
It's so the network who's covering it can have some show that will get ratings after the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
I'm just making that up.
I'm just saying that it's the perfect time slots.
3 and 6:30 a good time.
No, it is because you're going to have a bigger audience throughout. You're not going to have people cashing out at 11 o'clock because it's.
I can barely make it to halftime lately.
Yeah.
I have to miss the whole first game.
Yeah. And I think
football
that
banquet.
the day after the Super Bowl should be a holiday, don't you?
Well,
of course. National holiday.
So it's President's
So we don't
Day
have to come in?
is the week
Good call,
after.
Alex.
Yeah.
That was the.
So we
should
just gotta
start
push
here.
it.
Well, once
Alex, that was the
We should
absolute
start
question that
here.
needed to be asked. Good
We'll
job by
start
you.
here.
Once the
Be the change.
Once the league moves
I
to
said that
8,
yesterday.
once the league moves to 18 regular
It'll be
season
President's
games,
Day.
it's going to be President's Day, and it will be a holiday after the Super
Because
Bowl.
President's Day is the next week.
Yeah.
So it's right there. Like,
So it's
just
coming.
gotta
It's
make it
coming.
happen.
We're going to get that holiday after the Super
And
Bowl.
we're all getting the Monday after
But
the
do
Super
we
Bowl
even
off.
get that off here?
Do we?
President's
You tell me.
Day?
Probably not.
I don't know.
He's asking us.
I don't pay attention.
The
to
presidents,
holiday.
we found out over years, like the presidents weren't really presidents now.
You have
so.
the power to grant us that day
We
off.
just work.
Yeah.
You do have that power.
Content team holiday.
I have a power to do that?
Should be a content team holiday.
I don't know. Did you check with Bill?
Yeah.
What did Bill say?
Yeah.
No days off.
Right.
No days.
And that did nothing but take them. We can say that now, evidently.
All
Fred
right.
has taught me.
How dare you?
That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered.
Talk about cutting it short.
I got things to do. Enjoy the conference championships, and we'll be back on Tuesday to talk about them. See you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and